went through with a lot of the folks and a lot of the different situations. So we'll go and leave it there. All right, we will leave it there. We will try to play some of it later on, just in case you didn't hear it. So we'll repeat it. How about that? But joining me in studio, this young man, Jonathan Floyd, is here with a box of Care, the gift company, and I'm gonna start off where my care package, man. Well, no, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
It's in the mail. It's in the mail.
It's in the mail.
It's in the mail. It's coming. It's coming.
How you doing, brother?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm all right. It's Friday.
It is Friday. It's rainy, but we hadn't seen rain in what, a month, 2 months? It feels like.
And it feel like it's all coming at one time, don't it?
It always does.
All weekend long, of all weekends, this weekend.
Right.
Tell us about a box of Care, what it is that you do, and some of the things that I know that's important to you that sit right there on top of your brain. Tell us about Box of Care.
Yeah. So Box of Care is a gift company I started and launched in 2017 out of the kitchen area of a 2-bedroom apartment in Kenner. Simply put, it's a New Orleans gift company. So I package things we know and love about the city, the Cafe Du Monde, the Zaps, and that sort of thing, and partner them with smaller businesses that even some people from New Orleans had never heard of. So Wix Nola Cookie Company, Jambalaya Girl, with the focus on woman-owned and minority-owned businesses, essentially put that into specialized packaging, customized packaging for a particular event or whatever the case is. Working with hotels, destination management companies, the Sugar Bowl a few years in a row, the Final Four, and essentially try to give people a piece of New Orleans. Like I said, launched it in 2017, did it as a side thing. My background is in corporate recruitment.
Okay.
Did it for about 2.5 years until 2020, where I actually had the conversation with my wife and said, listen, people can't travel. If this doesn't hit, and then we're talking like April of 2020, it said, this doesn't hit, I'm done. Crazy thing is, it took off. People couldn't get to New Orleans, so they were ordering stuff from then, and I've been running like crazy since then.
Really?
Yeah, and worked through 2022, left my job at the end of 2022, and now have been doing this full-time for 2 years.
Were you surprised?
Which part of it?
Of that, she's like, okay, I'm leaving my job. I'm doing this full-time. This is, because when they say entrepreneurs, when they step out, there is a level of that old saying that all of us hear is you got to step out on faith.
Take the leap or whatever Steve Harvey said.
Right.
So we had a plan, but I am very impulsive. I will say that. But my wife has been a tremendous help through this process. She's a nurse and works at a local hospital, obviously. But I watched her go through COVID and the role that she played and all that stuff. So for me.
Wait a minute, she was in a hospital during COVID?
Working.
No, working in the hospital during COVID?
Working in the hospital, changing clothes and outside when she got home and all that stuff. So
God bless her.
Yeah, so her and her the whole entire, everybody in healthcare, every single healthcare worker and the role that she played. So, again, I am impulsive with making the decision to leave
I understand.
and all that stuff. But for the long term, I definitely want to eventually get her into a better situation. Obviously, my children, I have 2 little girls as well.
You're a dad.
I'm a dad.
You're a girl dad.
A girl, two little girls.
Oh man, don't worry. I was the same way.
Okay.
Mine aren't little anymore. But I just want to let you know they never leave.
I believe. Look, we're stuck. We just had gymnastics yesterday. We start a ballet class next week. So it's
so you go to the gymnastics and the ballet. And
all of that.
Yeah, I did the same.
All of that.
Yeah, I got pictures.
I just haven't had I see some dads go dance. I haven't had the dance.
Oh, you gonna?
Okay, well.
Oh yeah. Oh, bro,
I'm not opposed to it.
No, you need to get your curtsy and pirouette
all
and all of that together. And
all of that.
Be able to do it. You gonna wait till swimming comes.
Whatever I need to do, that's fine.
Oh boy. I'll school you after we get off the air.
That's fine. That works. Yeah. That's fine.
I did the all the above.
Okay.
So
okay.
You know what? And as much as I'm making fun of you, I went through the same thing. People did me the same way, but I wouldn't have it any other way.
Oh, and it's so one is 8, about to be 9. The other is 5, about to be 6. And I'm like, we're already halfway through before they leave. So I'm like, I'm just trying to soak in everything I can while still working and going crazy, honestly.
Yeah. Congratulations
Thank you. I
on
appreciate that.
doing that. But I want to get back to entrepreneur.
Yes.
because this is something. So I'm not originally from here either,
Okay.
but I've been here 30 years, so I
Okay,
am from
so
here.
you hear, yeah, I was about to say.
But every time I go home to because I'm originally from North Carolina.
Okay.
But every time I go home, first thing my sister tells me is, "Can you bring me some of that beignet mix? Can you bring me some of that Louisiana that hot sauce? Can you bring me something?
Yes.
Can you bring me some of them red beans?
Yes.
And things of that sort." So I started doing Christmas gifts. I went to one of the little 5 and dime stores and get the little baskets.
Of course.
And start putting some of those things in
Yes.
there and bringing them home. Here's your Christmas gift.
Yes.
Those things mean so much to people that have not been a part of Louisiana and can't get here.
I agree.
And I'm looking at you and I'm saying, wait a minute, you got a website?
Mm-hmm.
People just go on there and be like, boom, I need this, 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 and this. And you have a working relationship with different businesses.
Correct.
Now, I'm going back to what you just said. You said mostly women-owned businesses?
Not mostly. I mean, I in terms of who I work with, we go all over the city.
Right.
So sure. But I make it a point. So when I say, or one of the staples of my business is providing a platform for others.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, when you talk about New Orleans, that means going to find people that look like me.
Right.
For the culture, right? So when you see New Orleans on TV, they'll show certain restaurants. They'll show Commander's Palace and all. Man, it looks great.
Right.
Great. All of that stuff.
But what about Little Dizzy's?
What about Little Dizzy's?
What
Morrow's. I went to Morrow's
what
recently.
about
The steakhouse.
Morrow's?
I mean,
Right.
it's more to it.
Do they get that same pub? Not only just on a local level, but I would say a national level as one of those 5-star Commander Palaces.
Correct.
Do they get that same type of outreach from the local media or media companies here?
Mm-hmm.
But if they don't, do we take care of us?
I think, I mean, with social media, so there's a group on Facebook, Where Black Nola Eats,
Mm-hmm.
that I find and or look through, and I'm always looking for recommendations, but absolutely not do the Black businesses in the city get the sort of opportunities or publicity. I'm fortunate, so I will work with, again, like I said, a corporation that's coming down, an organization, the Sugar Bowl or whatever, who wants, hey, we're here, we want 100 gifts,
Right.
New Orleans
Right.
authentic,
Right.
and I'm like, the first thing I know I'm gonna do is go to a Black-owned business. If they let me recommend, now sometimes they'll say, we want the beignet mix.
Right.
Zatarain, okay, that's fine. But if they don't have that sort of keen eye for what's happening down here, I will make it a point to go find.
Go to Loretta's and get her beignet mix.
Correct. Or
You know what I'm
pralines
saying?
or whatever
Her
the case is
pralines,
that I
her
can make
beignets,
work.
All of
Absolutely.
those different things. Because I just think we originate most of it, and then a lot of the and don't take me for this, but you'll understand what I say. I just feel like we originate different things in this city, and then when it gets popular, it gets taken over.
I agree.
And it's like we never even had anything to do with it.
So to me, it's almost a lack of appreciation. For it.
Appreciation. I appreciate you gave it to me.
Yeah, I was
or you
gonna say,
let me
that's
steal it from you.
Yeah. There's no appreciation. And coming off the anniversary of Katrina, something that we know with New Orleans, it was always about the people.
Right.
So things have come and gone, businesses, buildings, all that stuff. People have come and gone, but it's always been about the people. So for me, it's like, how do I showcase that in a good, positive way that takes out the political aspects of New Orleans or the social aspects, where it's just like, this is the view from the inside of what it's like to experience New Orleans and taste our food and, come down here you're only here 3 to 5 days. So it's hard to really to get it.
Right.
And you want to be in the French Quarter, I understand. But when you leave out of here, let me just kind of show you a little bit.
And how many of the folks have no idea that there is more to the culture of New Orleans other than the French Quarter? Because when I come to town, I don't know too many. There may be 1 or 2, but there aren't that many that are in that area of the CBD that own these 3, 4, 5-star hotels.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm asking somebody that's working in that hotel where to go,
Mm-hmm.
well, I don't think that they're gonna say go
They're
out to
not.
New Orleans East
They're not.
and go to this restaurant, or if you want some ribs, if you want some authentic New Orleans Creole cooking, you need to go here.
Right.
You want to go hang out and hear some of the brass bands, they're not gonna tell you where to go.
Right.
But the other thing too that because I keep going, but one of the things I wanted to ask you was, is there the possibility to, when you have all these folks that are come into town, to have those different restaurants, organizations to say, let me give you this gift card. Put this gift card in your basket, or here, you got 100 folks coming down for the Microsoft,
Mm-hmm.
and they ordering 100 somethings. Well, give me 100 of your gift cards, $25. Even though that we know what the cost of somebody eating. Here's a $25 gift card.
Mm-hmm. So you know exactly what you're talking about.
Oh right, I do this too.
So we got to talk after this. But so one of the things I had to do was recently, and I'm just getting it stood up, is set up a digital guide.
Mm-hmm.
So I noticed that the opportunity was there to send them to places.
Yeah.
But even if somebody's there for a conference or here for a conference for 4 days and they can't get out at all, I wanted to better connect them to the products.
Mm-hmm.
So if you get a gift box from me, you'll get an insert inside that says, hey, go check out our digital guide. And at the digital guide, you can learn how to make jambalaya. You
Right.
can learn how to make beignet.
Right.
You can learn how to do all that stuff. So there's definitely an opportunity to really immerse people into the culture and send them specific, to your point, send them specific places. Where I'm not sending you to Tropical Isle to go get a hand grenade. No, man, go. We're going to take you off of bourbon,
Right.
and push you this way or
There's
push
so
you
much
that
of the
way.
culture that
I
that's
agree.
not-
I agree.
And then I think a lot of those folks hijack the culture
I agree.
and have nothing to do with the culture,
I agree.
but just hijack it.
I agree.
So one of the things too that now here's something else too that I was thinking about is the fact that digital guide, when you said digital guide, you might have saw me smile, but I was thinking to myself, well, what about an app?
Okay.
That app can almost be like an Uber app.
Okay.
So when you come to town, if you have a conversation with Uber drivers, taxi cabs, the limo services, hey, I'd like for you to at least show your folks this app and have them to download it to their phone when they get here. And this week's special is going to be Black Restaurant Week. You naming your own week.
Mm-hmm.
It might be Cuisine Week. It might be Creole Cuisine Week. It might be Burger Week. It might be Soul Food Week, and it can rotate. It don't have to be one part of the whole year. It could be rotating weeks.
That's a great idea.
So your restaurants will then be able to say, "Hey, look, we want this to be during the off season." This still, off New Orleans, we hear that these restaurants, they don't have the number of patrons that are coming to them. But it does not necessarily mean, because I check these numbers all the time, the numbers of folks that are still coming to the airport does not decrease.
Interesting. Okay. Not even in the summer.
Not even in the summer.
Interesting.
It gets worse in the summer.
Okay.
So if the numbers at the airport are not decreasing, where are the folks going?
That's great. That's a great point.
Heat makes me not want to go out. So guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to go and check the hotel restaurants. Did their numbers go down? Because their numbers ain't going. They're not the ones complaining.
That's true.
It's the standalone restaurants that are complaining, like, my numbers are going down because people not leaving the restaurants at these hotels. And if you've ever done restaurant food at a hotel, it's still not the same as going to one of these places in our neighborhoods.
I agree. Same. I agree.
So
I agree.
if you come into town, I need to be able to have that person or persons or that cab company or that Uber driver that can tell these folks, hey, you want real original cuisine? Download this app.
That's a great point.
And if that, because they downloaded the app on their Uber.
That's true. That's true.
So why
That's
not
true.
tell them, hey, download this? You hear you want to try the new cuisine? Oh, da-da-da-da. Because they'll get in the car. Because if you've ever ate any restaurant food out of a hotel, you paying out the yin yang.
I deliver the hotel, so I know how it is when I go in there, and those restaurants stay packed.
They stay packed.
They're packed.
Because they're not leaving out.
They're not.
So it's almost like and this is part of the marketing part. It's almost like developers are doing now. Developers aren't building a school or an apartment complex and saying that's where you live. Da da da. They're building apartment complexes to be 5-6 stories high,
Mhm.
but only 4 stories of apartments. That last story is for you to be able to go and get you some pizza, go shopping,
That's true.
so I don't have to leave.
That's true.
And that's the same thing that the hotels have started doing.
Mhm.
So, because they want to keep you within that confine of, well, you don't have to go outside to go get something to eat. You can just go down to one of our one of our restaurants.
That's a great point.
So let's take a break real
Sure.
quick here,
Let's do it.
because I think that how long you been doing this?
7 years, 2 years full time.
Wow. More coming up, y'all. And you can call in and ask some questions too. I think that'll be great. More coming up at 504-582-9422. More next.
Late nights are made for chillin', and you can do just that every Sunday night at 10 p.m. as DJ Wick brings you The Love Zone. It's the perfect way to top off your weekend with your favorite old and new school ballads. So sit back, relax, and let DJ Wick take you to the on WBOK 12:30 a.m. and on the World Wide Web at WBOK1230.com.
New Orleans, this is Jamar McNeely, Chief Executive Officer of Spinola Charter Schools. I'm excited to invite you to an incredible event you don't want to miss. The NOLA Love, Inspiration, Advocacy Rally featuring legendary Bishop T.D. Jakes. Join us on September 6th at 10 a.m. at Xavier's Convocation Center as we come together to uplift our community, inspire change, and advocate for the future of our youth. This is your chance to be a part of something truly powerful. RSVP now at inspirenolaschools.org. We'll see you there.
It's no secret that in New Orleans, we love good food just as much as we love our community. So why not make groceries while supporting local food producers too? Crescent City Farmers Market hosts year-round, rain or shine, where you can buy the region's freshest in-season produce, dairy, meat, seafood, and more. Using SNAP benefits at our market is easy, and with Market Match, you can double your dollars. Yes, that's right. Swipe your EBT card and we'll match every SNAP dollar, doubling your grocery budget so you can purchase more fresh fruits, vegetables, and food-bearing plants. Check us out on social media and visit us at marketumbrella.org for dates and locations. See you at the market.
Visit DePaul's new Algiers Health Center at 2801 General de Gaulle Drive to receive primary and preventive care for both adults and children. Services also include behavioral health, imaging, an on-site pharmacy, vision, Medicaid enrollment assistance, and more. For appointments, visit DePaulCommunityHealthCenters.org or call 504-207-3060.
Making a difference in the community. WBOK 1230 AM.
All right, folks, welcome back. 504-582-9422 is our number, 504-582-9422. My guest, Jonathan Floyd, in the building, y'all, from A Box of Care. And Box of Care, a gift company right here out of New Orleans.
Kenner.
You know Orleans.
Metro.
Yeah.
Well, when I'm out of town,
You 15 minutes.
I say
You 15 minutes.
not that far.
That's about it. But to give everybody, just if they're just tuning in, A Box of Care developed 7 years.
7 years ago,
Uh-huh.
2 years full time, but was started. So I didn't even give the backstory, but my wife's from Chicago.
Okay, we
And-
won't hold that against her.
No, we won't. Well, the thing is, with Chicago, it's like the Chicago to New Orleans pipeline. Especially at Xavier,
Mhm.
there's a lot of kids. So she originally came to Xavier.
One of our interns, her name is Shay. Shay, straight from Chicago.
There's a pipe. My wife was telling me about the Chicago club that they had, and this was so she came here before Katrina. Obviously left after Katrina, and when she came back, she went to nursing school.
Okay.
But anyways, I think we were having a conversation one night in 2016 about whether Chicago products or something from Chicago,
Mm-hmm.
which sparked us looking it up online, which sparked me to look at New Orleans to see is anybody doing any sort of gifts or whatever. And the crazy thing is, even now, 7 years in, there still aren't a ton of local companies. So-
Really?
yes. So there's one out of Luling, and then there's me, but nobody else that's really here that's got like a organized effort.
Mm-hmm.
Where for me, I'm working with hotels that want to do amenities or concierge companies or destination management companies or it heavy in the event space, but there's not. Like, so I don't know if that's a good thing, bad. Maybe there's a reason why
Right.
people don't or do, but for me, I saw a gap there. and that sparked me to do Box of Care.
But when we have a and I'm going back to this though, but when we have like months that are hot, June, July, August, maybe even September. I throw September in there just for GP. I hear a lot of the standalone restaurants always talking about, we can't get the people to come in, and they have to let people off, and that's a slow time and stuff like that. But my comparison has been from a marketing standpoint to say, well, I heard the New Orleans airport say that we had more people coming in to the airport more so these hot months than any other time. I see that the tourism has not slowed down as far as the conventions coming in. I've got Essence. I've got all these different things that are coming in. That's my audience. That's going to deal with me. So how do I get to them? And that is making sure that they get out of that CBD area. And that's no disrespect to anybody that has a business in the CBD, but the majority of our folks that are business owners can't afford to be in there.
Correct.
They're out on the outlying areas.
Correct.
And then I really have a problem with it. Now, I'm not getting you to comment on this part, but I really have a problem with there being a zone that is being placed on that area, meaning I can't do business in that zone because I'm not a sponsor of this event.
Right.
So, but does that stop me or hinder my business? No, I need to be creative enough to find out how I can I want to say get around that, but also be able to get to my market. And that would be those restaurants need to have a conversation with you.
Yes. Correct.
So that they can have a prosperous time or prosperous month and be able to get that audience and let you deliver it to them.
Absolutely.
Because you're already going to be delivering to those folks.
I'm already connected to their customers.
You already connected to them,
Correct.
but they're not.
Correct.
So what can be developed is almost like a card that says, hey, come eat with us. You get 10, 20% off, whatever. Today, here's your discount card or here's your gift card. These are the things that I could be able to put in my care package.
Yes.
And then give that to you in an envelope. I'm charging you for this information. I just want to let you know. I'm joking. Right?
No, that's what. So I wanted to do it. There's going to be an advertising.
Don't try to say my advert. Don't try to say my stuff.
No. That's fine. That's funny. But you actually, the app thing I think is brilliant.
Absolutely.
There's going to be an opportunity for some ad space within that. But when you look at, so you've been talking about the summer, but let's look at Q3, Q4, Taylor Swift.
Right.
Football season.
Football season is kicking in this week.
Whatever other festivals are.
And look, Decadence is here.
Yes, Decadence. Whatever other festivals are coming, and then Super Bowl. So for the restaurants who are trying to get that ad time, I actually got into the program, the Super Bowl supplier program. But I know everybody. So there's a few hundred businesses, local, minority-owned, woman-owned businesses that are in there. But, man, it is going to be the Hunger Games.
But think about something here, that I got a Box of Care app on my phone. And I got a list of restaurants. Instead of maybe this would be a whole lot more efficient.
Yeah.
I got a list of restaurants that are working in conjunction with you. And all they have to do is download Box of Care's app on their phone.
That's a great point.
And what you have is a QR code. So when I go into your restaurant, all I got to do is hold my phone up. They mark it, and they get a certain amount of money, 10%, 20%, or whatever, off of their bill. Yeah, because they are working with a Box of Care.
Yeah, that's a great. I mean, that's exactly what I'm working on right now.
Yeah, that QR code, man. A lot of folks don't realize it, but you eating at a restaurant these days is pretty expensive.
It is,
and if you got 3 or 4. You're going to be $100 plus.
That's correct.
$100 plus. That's correct. And 10 to 20% off. And then in some of these restaurants, you got 4, 5, 6 people. They automatically tell you before you come in, oh, yeah, there's a 30% charge.
That's true, too. Yeah.
On top of that, because you got more than one person working your table because you got a whole group of folks.
That's true.
Getting 30%, $30-$40 off of that $160 that you're getting ready to spend is something that is going to be worthy, especially if you're here for more than one day.
That's correct.
And you got to do it every day.
That's correct.
So I'm telling you, man, it's
That's correct.
too many openings. And I'm hoping that nobody going to try to jump on this because they're listening to us talking.
I'm already past halfway there.
yeah.
So they can look. People can do whatever they want to, but it's a lot of work within even what you're saying.
Right.
There's a lot of work to
And
organize
it
that.
don't happen overnight.
Absolutely
That's
not.
why I was like glad to hear you say, I've been doing this 7 years.
Yeah.
Because a lot of stuff when you're entrepreneur, you end up being trial and fail.
Correct.
And anybody that's in business knows what I'm talking about when I say fail. That's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Failure or something that you just didn't succeed in is a learning experience.
Absolutely.
Because you get back up
Absolutely.
and you do it again
Absolutely.
and you get it right.
Correct.
So I can imagine
Yeah.
how many times your wife called you a couple of names. That's okay.
Lost money and all kinds of stuff. Advertising. Wait, the crazy thing is, for me, so 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
It took me a while to figure out who my buyer was.
Right. That's your market.
So it took me it within the last year or so. I felt like, okay, so I just need to be with the tourists.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So locals don't. So the only locals who buy are the ones who are buying from here or shipping to family elsewhere, or those who moved away after Katrina or Ida, who miss New Orleans,
Right.
cannot get back, and
Right.
those are the only New Orleans tied people that really truly buy from me. Where I see everything else is all tourists, and even people online who buy, who may have never been,
Mhm.
who just like New Orleans, saw something on TV or know one of the brands I may have in there. Those are my other folks.
So that you had, and here's where I go. All right. So automatically, if I'm looking for those folks, what am I looking for? I'm going to look for those folks that left New Orleans,
Mm-hmm.
wanted to come back, couldn't, tourists.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also going to look for those 150,000 folks that moved away
Mm-hmm.
because of Katrina
Mm-hmm.
and couldn't come back,
Yes.
that still have a taste for it.
Yes.
So there's a list, through the New Orleans business something of the businesses that closed, the number of folks that left.
Mm.
That I forgot exactly what it is. Remind me to look it up. I'm gonna look it up and tell you.
Okay.
But I'd be getting all of them addresses.
Interesting. Okay. I didn't think about that
Right?
approach.
I get every last one. Look, 150,000. You may not get 150,000, but if you got 10%,
I was supposed it doesn't take 150,000
No.
to make it something. It doesn't.
You get 10% of that. I'm coming for dinner.
That's correct. That's correct. That's correct.
Because what they end up being too, and this is the other part of my marketing issues that I think that some of us don't do. It is that how do I create that person that is going to be that one-time buyer? How do I create them to be a reoccurring buyer?
Correct.
You know,
Correct.
how do I do that? Because
Correct.
I think a lot of companies are really taking advantage of folks with reoccurring.
Absolutely.
They take advantage of it because they're like, click on here and, we'll send it to you every month, but we want to take it off of your debit card
All the time.
all the time. And we forget that that's coming out of your bank account.
So the subscription element. Okay, I was thinking, man, Domino's Pizza, they must text me. They text me more than my wife does. Domino, you buy Domino's on Friday, and I'm like, by Monday they got the 3%,
Right.
$3 off the next
Right.
thing, and then they text you Thursday, and so there's that element, but there's also the
Right.
subscription piece of it too. You're right.
Right.
Correct.
So let me ask you this.
Sure.
When you're looking at that person here, the folks that are coming here, the tourist industry, expansion,
Mhm.
are you looking to Baton Rouge? Are you looking into North Shore? Are you looking to those folks to expand that also want a part of New Orleans? So a lot of people want to come to New Orleans, they just don't.
That's a great question. So I had a conversation with somebody earlier this week about that. I've spoken to St. Tammany's Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot going on. Covington, Madisonville, Mandeville, all that. Slidell as well. Spoken to St. Bernard Parish as well, and then also St. Charles. There's a lot of opportunity, and it would look different. So I think the thing for me would be figuring out the model there.
Mm-hmm.
It looks drastically different.
different.
Yeah,
Right,
drastically different than New Orleans. But I think there's a lot of opportunity.
Because everybody
those places.
loves New Orleans.
Correct.
They may not come.
Correct.
They may not want to participate, but they love Mardi Gras.
Correct.
They still love the Sugar Bowl.
Yep.
They love the New Year's celebrations. They love what's going on. And if they can get a piece of it,
Yes.
and if you can market it to them
Yes.
and get a piece of it, then I don't want to say it in a disrespectful way, but I know they're not coming down here to hang out at the second line.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some of them do now, but,
Right.
but I know a lot of them not coming to hang out at the second line. But if you can provide the king cakes,
Correct. Yeah.
because everybody loves a good king cake.
Absolutely. Mardi Gras. Yeah.
And if you could get the king cakes, because now they're sending them out.
Yep.
And because I had 2 sent to North Carolina, and they were like, "Baby, what's this?"
You said it's a cinnon roll.
Right,
It's,
right,
it's a cinnamon roll. That's all it is.
Go on, just take a bite. Oh yeah, by the way, don't eat that baby. Yeah.
But that's true. So working with the other parishes or whatever, there's the opportunity to either send people from there to New Orleans or vice versa. But, you know, especially with Kenner, they'd want to fight you if you say that Kenner didn't have something going on.
Right.
Or the North Shore doesn't have something.
Right.
So there's that piece of it as well, where these other places, you know, everybody's got their own little cities, towns, culture,
Mm-hmm.
stuff to it as well.
But let's talk about Kenner for a minute.
Sure.
Because I want to go to something in Kenner that happens every year that I never realized this until I ended up going one year.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I really don't know why they do this.
Mm-hmm.
Every year for Mardi Gras, King Zulu and the king of something, I forgot exactly what it is, but it's out of Kenner. They go to Rivertown.
Yes.
I went one year, never went back.
I've been before.
But they do it every year, and it's a big deal.
It is a big deal.
So, of course, I'd be saying if I'm you and that's my home, how can I get involved?
So with it being just me, I'm just transparent moment, but just me, I've been like more locked into the travel space, but I think there's a lot of opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
So next year, I think is
Deirdre said it's Argus.
the bicentennial of Jefferson Parish.
Right.
Either 200 years, 250 years. So I think there's an opportunity there, but I do know what you're talking about with the proclamation reading or whatever that takes
I'm
place.
trying to know this rich man. I'm telling you that because what you have done and what you're doing is you're basically I want to be able to look at you in 5 years and say, I remember when you sat down at the table and we were going over some of this stuff, and now you got 30, 40 people working for you while you and the wife are going to the Bahamas on the beach.
Come on.
You still running the business, of
Come
course,
on.
so you own the business.
Come
On the business, because this entrepreneurial spirit that you got and investing into it and making it a whole lot, I think feasible for other people as well is a great idea. And you work in the business enough to know that, okay, I made some mistakes, but I corrected everything, and these are the things that we have done, and it's working for you.
Yeah.
So where do you go from here? That's the $1 million question.
It is just based off this conversation and conversations I have with other entrepreneurs, thinking bigger. I think to get to that point you're talking about in 5 years, whether that 5 years becomes 2 or whatever, it's going to be some thinking bigger. But for me, I think it's going to be impacting a lot of people to get to that, right? So how am I better engaging the businesses I work with? How am I better engaging the people when they come in? How am I doing the advertising connection piece? Again, creating value is a word that's always kind of thrown around, but creating that value. I think there's a lot, like I said, not a lot of people are doing this. And I know the difficulties of doing this. It's just a matter of how do I put it all together to where it makes sense. But I think the app thing is an amazing idea. You really getting that first touch on those people when they get to the city.
Folks, when they hit the ground.
I think that's a great idea.
That's
a great idea.
One of the first things that they need to be able to do is, what am I loading on my phone?
Yeah.
What? Because I hear a lot of folks. It's one of my listeners who is he's retired now. I call him my cousin on the cab company. And it wasn't a little cab company. It's pretty big. He ain't gonna tell you he got a whole lot of money, but he got a whole lot of money.
Okay.
He retired now.
Okay.
But one of the things he always calls me to tell me about is what people say when they get in the car. And one of those things is, where do you go to get some real New Orleans cuisine?
Of course.
And I'm thinking to myself that's a market.
Absolutely.
And if you capture it, and you tell folks, hey, look, put this app on your phone and download or go to this QR code or whatever that is. I think the QR code may be even better.
Yeah.
Because automatically that you'll have all of those lists of all those restaurants that they have to go to and try.
Yes.
That they're not going to go down to Bayou Road
Correct.
and go get some real cuisine,
Yeah.
or get some real cuisine, New Orleans cuisine.
Correct.
They're not going to do it because they don't know it.
Correct.
Or and I don't want to talk bad about nobody, but there's a restaurant on Poydras that a lot of folks go to, thinking that that's, you know what I'm talking about, without saying it.
I don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was down there earlier. So
and,
yeah.
and stand in line there, and I'm going,
outside, stand outside the restaurant,
and I'm saying to myself, no,
but that place gets the publicity on
they
TV.
get the publicity.
They're on TV, so when you don't know, that's
Right.
all you know. So for me, I'm like, that's. I work closely with New Orleans and Company, so they're the Convention and Visitors Bureau, and
Right.
I'm honest with them. I'm trying to figure out better ways to be that bridge. Like, how do I get people to understand what I'm doing, and how do I get them to the better,
Right.
more authentic? And I guess it sounds easy when you say it, but like, putting it to something
Yeah.
tangible is
But that
takes time.
tangibleness is electronically.
Yeah, Absolutely.
All you got to do is develop it,
absolutely.
or find that person that can develop it for you.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would probably even be better. You know, you
Yes.
find that person that can see your vision, because I can sit here and tell you all that stuff, but if it's not your vision, it ain't gonna work for you.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm just being honest with
Yes. Yeah.
you. But one of the things too that I will tell you is that this is so creative to the point where if you do it and you do it right and you continuously do it, and you said 7 years, and I know that you've been working at it. What's in that care package? And then, what are you looking at to put in it later on? What do you say you want to put in that care package? What's in that care package for people that want to order right now?
So right now, I mean, you've got again, as I mentioned at the beginning, so the Cafe Du Monde's. I work with Elmer's Chiwis and put their chips in there,
Mm-hmm.
Zaps as well, Crystal's hot sauce. But also I work with and I get approached by seasoning companies all the time. But there's a guy out of Lafayette, which I know is not New Orleans, but guy Cultural Creole Seasoning, black owned
Mm-hmm.
business. I work with Wicks Nola Candle Company. That's she's kind of all over, but she's grown and has an amazing business.
Mm-hmm.
Nola Cookie Company, Jambalaya Girl, which is a family-owned business that does jambalaya. That I up there with Zatarans or whatever the case is. Mardi Gras items,
Mm-hmm.
as well. A few other Cafe Du Monde things. I have some Aunt Sally's items that I'll do, and then there's some other companies that make stuff that, depending on the situation, where I don't need as long a shelf life, I'll put other products in there as well.
There are two sisters right there off of, and I know there's something called Two Sisters, but I'm not talking about the restaurant Two Sisters. There are two sisters that are right there on Bayou Road, and they have a bakery called the Cupcake Fairies.
Okay.
They make the best cupcakes, and I had to stop eating stuff because I was like, "Oh Lord, I got to take my insulin shot." but they have people ordering stuff for them all the time. It'd be worth a view. They're worth just a visit.
I will,
To go over
absolutely.
there and see.
Absolutely.
The other lady is like right up the road. I don't know if she has a shop. Somebody can call me and tell me who she is. I forgot her name. But I used to go by her, and then I see her at all of these festivals. She actually makes soap.
Okay.
Don't ask me what her ingredients are, but all I know is they're all natural.
Okay.
It's some of the best soap that I've ever had.
Okay. Okay.
And she actually makes it in the great big bars,
Okay.
and she cuts it up
Interesting. Okay.
right there for you.
Okay.
But you
okay.
would never think that soap would be something that you order with all natural products in it, and that anybody would want.
Mhm.
I guarantee you, get a couple of bars for yourself or for
Okay.
your wife,
Okay.
and I guarantee you, you're gonna be like, I need to order.
Okay.
I just got to get her name. I forgot her name.
Okay.
But she makes it herself. She has the ingredients. I mean, when you look at it, you're gonna be like, oh man, I got cinnamon, or this has
Yeah.
got lavender,
Yeah.
and this one is, and they're all the different colors and everything.
Yeah.
And one of the things too that I'm bringing this all up for you for a reason, because I just think our people are so creative,
Absolutely.
and we know what we want.
Yeah.
Anybody that's not like me, you either copied it or you think I want it.
Mhm.
These are folks that know that folks want their products. The soap lady, she always runs out. She always runs out. And I'm not talking about, no little bitty bars and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm talking about bars like this
Okay.
thick and that long. She's throwing them over her shoulder and coming and stuff. And she runs out.
Wow.
She has a line. Usually she's at the festival too. I got to find her name because this is something that, is really, really something that I know you want.
Okay.
I'm trying to think too about little gadgets and gadgets and stuff of that sort. What the lady's name is. There's a lady that makes like the little puppy dogs out of yarn,
Okay.
and they're like Mardi Gras with the Saint stuff on
That's
them.
cool. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, they look. I got to get her name.
Okay. Yeah. I will.
So you making me think, Brandon.
No, that's.
I didn't think it was gonna be this way.
That's
today.
that's interesting. I mean, I'm always looking for something. I know I can't be everywhere, so I
Right.
know. So I used to go to marketplaces, and I do when I can now,
Mhm.
where they'll have like the small marketplace somewhere in the city, and 20 people are set up.
Right.
I used to spend time out there and go see that sort of stuff. So I'm always interested in other products.
But ordering in bulk, gets you
Yeah.
deals.
Oh,
gets you
absolutely.
deals,
Which
too.
is how I
So-
do it.
So
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
if you're ordering in bulk, that gives them the ability to say, hey, look, I give you this for this, or whatever your price
Correct.
is.
Right. Right.
And but how do folks do when you send stuff out? Are you mailing it out? Are you sending it out yourself? If I wanted something, a care package, and I wanted to send it home and stuff, how does that work?
Yeah, so you can just go on a website. If you just wanted to buy a gift box, go on a website, theboxofcare.com website, pick something, and you can even put a note in there. So, hey, you send it, and we'll read the notes because obviously we put it on to something.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, we're talking any occasion, anniversaries, birthdays, somebody passed away, somebody was here, somebody's doing business, whatever the case is, and you can order whatever you want.
Right.
And we'll send it out typically within 24 hours.
How about those folks that want to do business with you,
So I have the website. On the website, there's an email address. So it's my name, Jonathan, JONATHAN @boxofcare.com, or info at boxofcare.com. And if you wanted something special, so it's a one-man show,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm all about pleasing the customer. So if you want something in particular, people will say, my auntie just wants chips. I'll put something together for you.
Right.
That's just chips for your auntie, and
Right.
we'll ship it out.
But let's say the soap lady is listening right now, and she's like, "Oh, he talking about me." I'm gonna say,
Yeah. So look.
I want
you
to do
can-
business with
you
him."
can send me an email at info@boxofcare.com and just say, hey, listen, I have a product.
Right.
I'm for me, I'm open to whatever.
Mhm.
I'm open to whatever. So it's not, like I said, that seasonings, people always, hey, I got a new seasoning. Everybody's got a seasoning, which I'm not mad about, but a lot of people have seasonings.
Mm.
But soap, you talked about the yarn. I come across all kinds of other businesses, cupcakes, that sort of thing. I mean, I'm open to hearing and finding, not even just hearing, finding opportunities and ways to include
Right.
those sorts of businesses.
Right. That's great, man. This is I know you already took off, but I think that this is going to be something huge, and I'm just saying, you and the wife gonna be down in the Bahamas. I'm gonna be like, I know him.
Say that. If she's listening, I'm gonna make sure I play it back. I'm trying to get her to see the
No,
logs.
no.
Trying to get her to see
You
the
are
logs.
not gonna have her tonight calling me. You're like, my ears is
She's
burning.
gonna call you in 5 years and say, "You told me
You
in
told
5
me."
years."
Be like, where
Let
y'all?
let the record show. She pull up the MP3. So
I'd be like, my ears is burning tonight. What happened? She talking about you pretty bad, bro. She talking about you pretty bad. People that want to get in contact with you, Jonathan, how do they do so?
So you can go to the website, so www.boxofcare.com. You can go on Instagram, it's just Box of Care NOLA. Facebook, which is, just Box of Care. The phone number is 504-432-1427. That's my number.
Give that again.
504-432-1427 is my number directly to me. If I don't answer, leave me a message. Or you can email me, Jonathan, JONATHAN, @boxofcare.com. or info at boxofcare.com.
Where do you want to go with this? Where do you want to go? What do you see?
When I first started this business, I wanted to have 10 cities. So
Yeah.
the next thing, particularly
Branching out.
Chicago is on my list just because she's
It
from there.
better
And
be.
and how much I love them. So I mean, like, I lived in Houston. So there's other cities.
Smart man.
Other cities. That would be the next thing.
Smart man. You got the telephone call. Treese. I'm Treese.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Hey.
Listen, I was calling because I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty sure he knows this, but you know, New Orleans and company, whatever that is, they're supposed to advertise business in New Orleans. In the same way, your girl had to create where Black Nola eats. This sounds like something, you know, where he can go with it, his business too. I'm sure he thought of it, but because there's so many different types of Black businesses that don't get any of the tourist dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know New Orleans and tourists come, whatever the name of it is, they don't advertise or deal in the Black businesses. So I mean, I was listening to him, and in the way that your girl created her platform with where Black Nola eats, that sounds like something that is very much needed in all the aspects of where he is headed to. So I just wanted to speak into him like you just was. Like I can see him, you know, we need that Black business, New Orleans and company tourist type of situation going on here.
Yeah. I agree. Thank you, my dear. Appreciate you much. All right, Treese. Thank you. Again, give your telephone number.
Telephone number is 504-432-1427. Reach out to me. Email me, whatever. You have a suggestion, you have a thought, whatever the case. I'm open. For me, the one thing that she talked about with where Black Nola eats is, man, they create a strong community.
Yeah.
That's still another thing I'm working on. How do you create that strong sense of community? So they have a really, really, really strong community within that.
Yeah. You're gonna have to start holding those functions and meetings.
I know that's right.
So you want to develop that? Good luck. That's a lot of work.
There's a lot. All of it. There's no easy path.
There's no easy
none
way.
None of this.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad you came through.
I appreciate it.
I know you're going to be successful, more successful. I'm not going to just say successful, but more successful. Very innovative, and I can't wait to see what comes up in the next 5 years. And tell the wife, my ears is burning. I don't know why my ears are burning. All right, y'all. Jonathan with Box of Care, the gift company. You need to get him today. Make sure that you call him, all right, and send him the email. We got more coming up. Everybody hold tight. Boom. That's it.
Hi, I'm Leo Jackson, host of Sunday Gospel here every Sunday morning, 5 a.m. to 7 p.m. and 12 o'clock till 2 p.m. You don't want to miss this move of God. It happened only on WBOK. You listen to all day long.
A message from the community scientist. Do you live or work in St. James, St. John, St. Charles, Ascension, Calcasieu, Baton Rouge, or St. Bernard parishes? If so, it's important for you to understand objective information about 1,3-butadiene, volatile organic compounds, methane, and mercury, and how they impact your health and the natural environment. The Community Scientist is a service program of Rise St. James. Learn more at risestjames.org.
This is Andronika Morris, host of Put Housing First. Join us every Tuesday at 12 o'clock, where we will discuss how housing affects every aspect of our lives and what's necessary, what's needed to guarantee housing for all. Join us every Tuesday at 12 o'clock as we dig down deep onto the issues that affect all of us.
Welcome back to school, families and scholars. NOLA Public Schools is excited to kick off another exciting year of learning, growth, and success. Our dedicated teachers have been preparing all summer to provide an engaging and enriching experience for every student. Let's embrace new challenges, celebrate achievements, and make the school year the best one yet. Stay connected with your school and NOLA PS by visiting our social media channels. Here's to a year filled with curiosity, creativity, and community. Attend today, achieve tomorrow.
Back. All right, we're back. We are back. Friday, y'all. I want to thank Jonathan Floyd coming through. That again, Jonathan at boxofcare.com. Make sure that you give him a shout out on the email and get that there, all right? All right, coming up, I got to talk to you about the issues, because a lot of folks didn't get a chance to hear it yesterday. So I got at least 15 text messages from folks. I'm trying to read some of these. Yeah, I got at least 15 folks that were sending me text messages asking questions about. As a matter of fact, one of my guys said, "Well, why didn't y'all have Ray Nagin on yesterday?" Because he wasn't in one of the photos. We took photos yesterday, and they wanted Ray to be in the photo. I was like, Ray was on the phone, so we didn't want to take no picture of the phone. Duh. But anyway, he was on the phone yesterday. So, with him being on the phone and talking about what happened with Hurricane Katrina, I've had at least 15 folks to send me text messages and say, Gerard, let me read some of these. Really enjoyed the conversation with the Chiefs, meaning Michelle Woodfork and Warren Riley, but I think I missed the conversation with Ray Nagin. Did you have him on? Yes, we did. That's to answer your question. Then the other text messages were more so, what time was Ray Nagin coming on? Did I miss him? Yes, you did. This text message came at 2:20. Ray Nagin was on at 1:20, so you were an hour late. The other text messages I got was, I really enjoyed listening and hearing the sincerity of the former mayor and what he went through during the time of Hurricane Katrina. Everyone should hear this conversation, and I was wondering, would you replay it? Sure. We will replay it. We will replay it. Nothing wrong with that. The other text message before I go in was pretty sarcastic. But I like sarcasm. Gerard, I'm listening to the radio station. Y'all know I like sarcasm. I'm listening to the radio station. I just want you to know, I don't want you to think that I just listen to you all the time. Because I really don't. I was like, wait a minute. You don't listen to me? He was like, no. Yes, I do. And then texted me, I like your show. It was all right. But I really enjoyed the conversation from the mayor. Is there any chance that we can get a copy of that? And then I sent him back a text message that said, no. So you give sarcasm, you get sarcasm. But Ray Nagin did something that was really great, and that was, and I want everybody to understand this. Can you imagine the number of media entities that contacted Ray Nagin for him to be on their shows, from national news, local news, and international news? And he said no and was with us. He said no, but he was with us. I got to tell him thank you. I felt privileged. I felt privileged. So, we're going to go back. And Jazz, we got to find it and play it back from yesterday in the 1:20 time frame. Okay. All right. News is next. We'll come back. We'll have some more conversation. We'll go over the news because we didn't get a chance to really go over the news yet. But I really want to talk about this news because it's going to be interesting to talk about that. And then we'll hear from Ray Nagin one more time. All right, y'all. More next right here on WBOK.
WBOK 1230 AM New Orleans. Home of the Reality Check, weekdays 1 to 4 p.m.
This news report is brought to you by New Schools for New Orleans.
I'm Ree Harris, and here's the latest from the Black Information Network. We're following a developing story out of Dallas, Texas, where a police officer is dead and 2 others wounded following a shooting last night. It's not clear what led to the initial shots, but officers responding to the scene found an officer shot in his marked patrol car. They also located a suspect who fled the scene, but was eventually killed in an exchange of gunfire. One of the injured officers is reportedly in critical condition at this time. Forecasters are closely watching a tropical wave that could be the next tropical depression or storm. The system is currently producing some disorganized showers and thunderstorms over the central tropic Atlantic. And that's the latest. I'm Ree Harris on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network, and BINnews.com.
New Schools for New Orleans wants to welcome all of our teachers, school leaders, students, and families back for the 24-25 school year. In addition, we want to send a big shout out to our education community for all of their hard work this past school year. Orleans Parish improved students' learning mastery plus by 2 percentage points since last school year. Also, New Orleans Public Schools grew 3 percentage points in the areas of English language arts and math in all grade levels. Let's continue to make more academic gains this school year.
All right, folks, welcome back. Welcome back. Friday. Yes, indeed. I know everybody ready for some Friday entertainment. That means being able to sit down and do nothing. That means being able to sit down and watch some football. So I think men, and this is going to sound real chauvinist, Jazz. This is going to be a real chauvinist statement. Chauvinist. I know some of the ladies going to send me that on the Facebook page, or they either going to call in and tell me you chauvinist. Yeah, this is the weekend that most of the men are starting to write out a couple of things and put it in perspective. Writing it out and putting it in perspective. Well, what you talking about, Gerald? This is the weekend where we're not looking for you to tell me I need to get out there and cut the grass. Don't tell me to put down no new potted plants, trees. I need you to go to the grocery store. No. Don't tell me you need me to go to the grocery store. Oh, I need you to go take the dog to the vet. No. We ain't slapping no hogs. Oh, that's for the country. We ain't doing all of that. Not this weekend. Why you not doing all that this weekend, Gerard? This kicks off football season this weekend. We is plopping down on the sofa. Jazz is going on, sitting over there with his guacamole and chips. Everybody else got their beer and sitting down, waiting for the college football season to start tomorrow. And they're looking for the NFL on Sunday. I would even say, because this is sacrilegious, I'd even say that some of y'all have made alternative decisions about church and going to church. What you mean, Gerard? What you mean? I'm thinking to myself, how can folks say that they ain't going to church because they want to sit down and watch football? They done come up with new ways of doing that. You know why? Because they done started putting church services on television. So guess what I do? And guess what you should do? Get up in the morning, go in the bathroom, take your shower, and get dressed. Put on your Sunday best. Put on your Sunday clothes, your suit, your whatever you wear. To some of y'all go as you are. But if you're going to put on your Sunday best, go on put your suit on. Then you go on in the living room. Cut on your Sunday service. And sit down on the sofa and watch the service and participate. And then you go into church service. 30 minutes. After it's over with. Because a lot of can't tell me I won't do that because I can't do the tithes and offerings things. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Because a lot of these church services, no, they ain't taking up just, they are not just taking up your $10 here, your $20. No. They got Cash App. They got Givelify. Zelle. Send them an offering. Don't make no excuses. You sitting there watching and amen and you got 30 minutes. Oh, yep. Amen. You done got the prayer. You done got your sacraments. You got all of that. You done went to church service. Had to go off. You can get up. Go back in your bedroom. Change into your jeans. Come back and sit down on the television, on the sofa. Change the channel to ESPN. Fox, CBS, ABC, and watch your sports shows. That's an alternative way of it. All of us going to hell, though. That's an alternative. All of us going. Yep, that's it. But there you go. That's your alternative. And that's why I'm saying the ladies is probably going to say he being a chauvinist. He's being a chauvinist. So let me ask you this. Because a lot of you got hit with it today. Y'all got hit with the rain today. And it was some heavy downpours. But y'all do know that there is a tropical disturbance in the Gulf of Mexico, right? That's bringing all that heavy rain. Are we prepared? Are we having a conversation? Let me read the story. Tropical disturbance spotted in the Gulf of Mexico Friday, expected to bring heavy rains, could cause some flash flooding in Louisiana for the next several days. That is according to the National Hurricane Center in Miami. Hurricane forecasters said that the area of low pressure over the northwestern Gulf is creating disorganized showers and thunderstorms along and just offshore the coast of Louisiana and Texas. So in the next few days, the system could bring heavy rain, flash flooding, and portions to coastal Louisiana and the upper Texas coast. The system is expected to stay located near the coast through much of the week, where some slow development is possible if it rains offshore. That's coming from the National Weather forecasters. The disturbance has a 10% chance of developing in the next 2 days, and a 20% chance of developing within the next week. The tropical wave that hurricane forecasters spotted Monday evening is near the Lesser Antilles in the Caribbean, and it douses the central tropical Atlantic with disorganized showers and thunderstorms. The system could gradually become a tropical depression sometime next week as it moves westward, approaching the Lesser Antilles Monday and continuing to cross the Caribbean midweek. The chance of tropical wave developing in the next 7 days is 40%. Hurricane forecasters spotted another tropical wave in the eastern tropical Atlantic Thursday evening, so something else to watch out for. System is between the west coast of Africa and the Cabo Verde Islands, where it is producing minimal rainfall and thunderstorms. Forecasters are saying that some slow development could happen through the next week as it moves over the eastern and central tropical Atlantic. There's a 20% chance of system developing in the next 7 days, and the tropical waves in the Atlantic and the Caribbean do not pose a current threat to Louisiana. Let me make sure I say that. The tropical waves in the Atlantic and the Caribbean do not pose a current threat to Louisiana. As I was going through this story today and I saw all the rain that was coming up early this morning, we had some thunder boomers around here this morning. You know the first thing I wanted to do? Call Damon Singleton, and ask him, break this down to me and let me know what this is. That's one of the first things I wanted to do. I did not call him and ask that question. But I've been doing it so many years, and having him to explain it, I just wanted to call him again and say, hey, man, break this down on the air for me. But I didn't. I did not. Now, I do think that I may have lost some respect for the television station. I haven't been tuning in like I usually do. Because maybe I'm a little pissed off that they relieved and removed the person that I rely on to give me the latest information about what's happening. Y'all think about something for a minute. And here's something else for you to think about. Every other weather person from all the other stations, I don't think nobody else thought about this for a minute, but I want y'all to think about this. Every other weatherman, weatherwoman from all the stations, not just one, not just Channel 6, from all of them, had the opportunity to do 20, 30, 40 years and pass it on to their understudy. Channel 6 did it with Dan, Margaret. Channel 4 did it with Arl Arredondo. Fox 8 did it with Bob Breck. And the guy that's over at Channel 26, he's still there. What's the difference? Y'all ever thought about that for a minute? You ever thought about that for a minute? All the other weather folks that were there for 20 plus years, they ended up in that position as chief. and got the chance to retire and passed it on to their understudy. And I'm using the word understudy very carefully. Next in line. Because I always looked at it like this. If you're good enough to be there for that many years, you should be good enough to be able to run the department. You've been there long enough. Hello, somebody? So how come all of them got the opportunity to not only work there for so many years, but be handed down the reins and then also be the head? And then after you left, you handed it down to your understudy. Maybe we need to put all this in perspective. And what's the number one common denominator? And I hope y'all not letting up writing and emailing and telephone calls. Don't let up. 504-679-0600. No, don't let up. Then the other thing, too, that I got to tell y'all, speaking about Damon, is the fact that today, because I think a lot of folks are still pissed, but today there is a big gathering at the Jazz Market. That's at 7 o'clock this evening. Let me give you the address just in case you don't know, which the Jazz Market is the facility right on, what's that, Aretha Castle Haley? Aretha. It's located at 1436 Aretha Castle Haley. That's 1436 Aretha Castle Haley. Here's the number just in case you need to call or try to get you some reservations or do that. I don't know if they're doing reservations. I'm just giving you the number. 504-646-8390. That's 504-646-8390. 504-646-8390. Location again is 1436 Aretha Castle Haley. Come on through. Show the weatherman. Y'all know they don't say the meteorologist. They be like the weatherman. Damon Singleton, good brother. He's going to be there for 7 o'clock tonight. Everybody should come. Everybody should come and say hello. That's going to be great. That is great. All right, we'll take the break. We'll come back with a conversation we had with Ray Nagin on yesterday. Go ahead and tell somebody that we get ready to play it again so that they will be able to hear it. Ray Nagin kind of led us up and gave us all the details about some of the things that he remembered 19 years ago with Hurricane Katrina. Ray Nagin coming up next.
That's right. It's party time each and every Sunday night at 7 p.m. on WBOK. It's the Throwback Throwdown with DJ Wick as he brings you the best in old school from the 70s, 80s, 90s, and the early 2Ks. Plus, the party goes to another level at 9 p.m. with the Throwback Throwdown party mix to round out the night. It's the Throwback Throwdown Sunday nights at 7 p.m. on WBOK 1230 a.m. and on the World Wide Web at WBOK1230.com.
New Orleans. This is Jamar McNeely, Chief Executive Officer in Spinola Charter Schools. I'm excited to invite you to an incredible event you don't want to miss. The NOLA Love, Inspiration, Advocacy Rally featuring legendary Bishop T.D. Jakes. Join us on September 6th at 10 a.m. at Xavier's Convocation Center as we come together to uplift our community, inspire change, and advocate for the future of our youth. This is your chance to be a part of something truly powerful. RSVP now at inspirenolaschools.org. We'll see you there.
Tune into The Monitor's Mic, where we talk about oversight, policing, and you. Hosted by the Office of Independent Police Monitor. We're here to shine a light on policing issues that matter, from real-time policing updates to in-depth interviews. Every Friday at noon on WBOK.
Greetings, WBOK family. This is Jason Clark, host of United Way and You. Be sure to tune in next Thursday at 12 p.m. when we'll be speaking with Melanie Richardson, co-founder and executive director of Training Grounds, a United Way funded partner. The topic will be the We Play, We Connect Family Resource Hub. Please tune in if you're able. Until then, we only have one life to live, so live your name.
Hello, I'm Gary Clark. Please tune in to Dr. Clark 101, The Living Classroom, which is broadcasted weekly every Wednesday at 12:30 p.m. on WBOK 12:30 a.m. on your dial. And as always, it's been a pleasure.
Making a difference in the community. WBOK 12:30 a.m.
All right, folks, welcome back. So yesterday, we had a good conversation with the former mayor. And that conversation with the former mayor, I'm talking about Ray Nagin. Yesterday was also the anniversary, 19 years since Hurricane Katrina. A lot of us were here. Some of us decided that we were going to stay because we thought we were going to be back in 3 days. And we saw the devastation that one storm caused, which we could probably classify it as total havoc. The destruction of your lifelong possessions, your buildings, your homes, the total destruction of businesses, the total destruction of so much that took us months and sometimes even years to repair. I was one of those that said that we'll be back in 3 days. No, it's totally wrong. I was totally wrong. But what did we learn from that escapade of bullcrap that all of us went through? I think the first thing that I learned was I'm not a refugee. Because that's what they were calling us, refugees. Did y'all notice that they were called? I know everybody was like, wait a minute, did they just call us refugees? Yeah, they call us refugees. The second thing that I learned was all that's supposed to be fair doesn't necessarily mean that it is fair. And so we heard our mayor become very frustrated with the powers that be, from the state level all the way up to the federal level. But as I talked to Ray Nagin on yesterday, Ray put it in perspective of some of the trials and tribulations that he went through. This is that conversation. All right, folks, welcome back. Welcome back. Gerard Stevens with you. It is the 29th of August. As we take you back 19 years, what were you doing when you heard those conversations about what we learned about real quick, fast, in a hurry? The words contraflow, the words move out, get out. What did we learn? Even when Dr. Blakely came through and was talking about, after all of this stuff, when we come back, you're going to have cranes in the air. It's going to be cranes in the air. And then everybody looked at Dr. Blakely like he was crazy because there were no cranes in the air. I got a chance to see one of my heroes. Let me rephrase that. I saw one of my heroes. And I called her a hero of New Orleans because a lot of folks really don't know her story as well. and that was Dr. Cynthia Willard Lewis. I saw her this past weekend because she was the guest speaker at the Women's Day at Pentecost Church, Pentecost Baptist Church. And a lot of folks don't know the story of what Cynthia Willard Lewis did as not only as a council person, but as a senator and representing the district of New Orleans East. And she was one of the main fighters that went against the folks that said, oh, yeah, we're going to green dot your area. Okay, so we got a chance to talk a little bit more into getting him on the air. Because we ended up listening to him as he was, I don't want to say reliving, because anybody that relived those times, if you listen to Warren Riley yesterday as well as Michelle Woodford, if you listen to them on yesterday, that was not the best times. And a lot of us, how many of us had moved away and was sitting in front of the television looking like Johnny Bench ready to catch a pitch coming to your fastball, just not moving away at all from that television because you wanted to see what happened to your area of town, your home. And I think that's when we really started up the texting, because you couldn't get telephone calls to come through. Telephone calls would not come through, but you could text somebody. I think that's how all of us had really started texting. You ready? All right. This is Ray Nagin from yesterday, y'all. That's all right. We'll get it. We'll get it back. All right. Joining us now, the former mayor of the city of New Orleans, and also the person that probably gave all the directions and saying, "Hey, get my people out there water." Former mayor Ray Nagin is on the phone with us. How you doing, Mr. Mayor?
What's up, G-Man? You all right?
Oh, man, I don't know if I just shot myself in the foot with that PTSD listening to that telephone conversation that you had with Garland Robinette, telling him to get my people out there water. I was like, boy, this reminded me of a whole bunch of stuff then.
Hey, man, that was a hell of a time, and I hope the city never goes through it again. I'm just finishing up Chief Riley's book, man, and that brings me back to all of that madness, man.
Yeah.
It's something else.
Yeah. Usually this time I try to make sure that we not celebrate this, but to at least memorialize it and all the people that died during that time. But there are a lot of things that you saw that a lot of people may not be privy to. And I know as the leader of the city, you had to try to keep a lot of that stuff to yourself anyway. You don't want to get on television and express it. But 19 years ago, it doesn't seem like 19 years, but what did we learn? What type of lesson do you think that we learned to make sure that something like that doesn't happen again?
Ooh, well, I mean, there's so much to that. I think the biggest thing we learned is that the levee system that was in place at that time was insufficient. I mean, highest levees were at maybe 10 to 12 feet high.
Mm-hmm.
The waves that came in were almost 20 feet high. So we learned that we needed to upgrade that system in a significant way. And then I forget the name of that what was it called, Mystigo?
Yeah, Mystigo. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was something that was cut, a canal that was cut to allow for the oil and gas companies to move stuff back and forth. That contributed to, created a weakness in the overall system that contributed to the flooding that we had. The other thing I would tell you is that it's amazing to me how now hurricanes are getting even stronger,
right,
because of climate change.
Mm-hmm.
And I think back to how deceptive Hurricane Katrina was. If you recall, it got in the Gulf, and she crossed over northern Florida, then got back in the Gulf, and we really couldn't tell exactly where she was going until a couple of days before she actually hit.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure if we learned more of how intense those storms can be, But directionally, where they ultimately going to end up, I don't know if we've really gotten that down pat yet.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. You did something that, you know, I think I told you this last night. I was at my condo. I was laying in the bed and I turned on the television to see some programming that I was waiting for. And you had a press conference on. It was you and your team. I think the Homeland Security Director and a couple other folks, the police chief and other folks were there, EMS. And you said something that, you know, I think that we are learning of this, but I think it was the first time that it had been used, and that was contraflow. And you were telling everybody we're going to move out the lower levels or the lower areas first, and then we're going to give you the go signal for the folks to be able to go. Was that the first time that we had used contraflow as a state?
I think it might have been the first or second time. I can't recall, but it was the time that contraflow really benefited us. I don't know if you remember, but I was chairman of the Regional Planning Commission, and I had worked with the parishes around the surrounding parishes to come up with a plan to ensure that the lower lying parishes would get out, and then New Orleans would get out at an appropriate time. And I think it was like, I can't recall exactly, but it was a number of hours before a storm was scheduled to hit. So, and by turning the highway that is normally allowing citizens to come into the city, by turning those around and forcing all of the highways to go out of the city, it allowed for more cars to leave the city, and it pretty much worked. I mean, there was never a time that I've seen in the history of this country where 95 to 96% of the people are evacuated from a major city area, really a metropolitan area. Mm-hmm. And I will never forget, man, people still come up to me today from surrounding parishes, and they basically thank me for alerting them that this storm was that serious and that they were going to be allowed to use contraflow to get out. And many of them got out, and you know their homes were destroyed.
Mm-hmm. One of the things too that I know that a lot of folks can appreciate is the fact that you were like, hey, look, you all need to understand something about this storm. This one is not like any other. It's going to be some devastation. Your house will probably not be able to withstand it. And I was like, withstand a storm, because I had never been in one myself. And I was like, what do we expect here? And you said a lot of devastation. If people stay, it's going to be a lot of death. I'm like, wait a minute, I need to get up out of here. And
well, I had to try and get people's attention because many of us New Orleanians had not been through a storm like that ever in life. And the last one that hit was maybe like 30 or 40 years ago before.
What was that, Betsy?
Flooding.
Right.
So the sense of urgency that I was trying to create to get people, to not be complacent is why I had to speak so strongly about what was getting ready to happen. And all the local news media stations, they shut their doors and they got up out too.
Mm-hmm. Frustration. That's a good word to use. I think it came over pretty well at some point. As the mayor, you had to, of course, hold a certain level of calmness about yourself. But as this thing kept going on, you were frustrated. Explain some of that to me, why you had gotten frustrated with the way that the process was being handled.
You're talking about after the storm hit?
Yes.
Oh, my God. My frustration level really started to build as the devastation unfolded, and 80% of the city was flooded or damaged. People were on their rooftops. Many had died. And we had done everything in our power as a local government to rescue as many people, to get people out of harm's way. We opened up the Superdome first, and then we had to, kind of barge our way into the convention center to get as many people out of harm's way. And I thought at some point that the state and federal officials would recognize the gravity of the disaster we were dealing with, and they would send all hands on deck down to New Orleans. Mm-hmm. And as the days continue to pass, that did not happen. The breaches and the levees were not being capped as quickly as I thought. The buses to rescue people from the heavy waters or rescue them from the convention center and the Superdome just didn't materialize for 7 days.
Mm-hmm.
We can get an aircraft carrier on the other side of the world quicker than that, but they wouldn't come and rescue us as quickly as I thought. And then to top it off, I had some people to visit from the States to come down, and it was just a kind of a camera event where they had video cameras. And then after they left, I thought they were going to send help, and all they did was do press conferences bragging about how things were under control and they were doing good work. And that's when I went on with WWL Radio to really tell them what was really happening.
What was this a political move? Do you think it was more political? Because I know that we had a Democratic governor, but also a Republican who was in the presidency, and it seemed to me that there was some issue of them working together. And then the question I think that was posed to you was why we just didn't ask for it. But your answer to them on the radio was, did they ask for all these other things? Did they ask for these things for these other places that had disasters?
Yeah, politics, unfortunately, became a big stumbling block to really getting the resources. We had a Republican president, George Bush, and we had a governor, Kathleen Blanco, who was a Democrat. And then we had Democrat senators, and they all were more concerned about, in my humble opinion, about how they were coming across to the public versus actually activating the resources that were needed. And then I was trying to encourage them to give General Honoré, if they didn't want to give me the authority to get things done, to give it to him. Mm-hmm. And next thing I know, the state was claiming that the feds couldn't come in because of some Posse Comitatus Act.
Right.
Something that was put in place during the Civil War era.
Right.
That basically said the federal government couldn't come in to do policing-like activities unless invited in by a governor. And this was designed so that the federal government couldn't enforce anti-slavery stuff that the states were doing. And it's still on the books today.
Mm-hmm.
So,
what did
but they
we
were
learn,
back and forth, and it was just extremely frustrating.
But what did we learn too? Well, let me do this. Let's talk about General Honoré when he came in, because everybody saw him. As a matter of fact, I'm still in awe of a photo that I got a chance to take, because I got you on one side, I'm in the middle, and General Honoré is on the other. I was like, these are the two men that saved everybody's lives.
Well, General Honoré, I've said this story many times. He was amazing. He came in on a helicopter and he started, barking orders and getting FEMA to move, and he wouldn't take the BS that they were giving us, and he wouldn't play politics. He just wanted to get stuff done, mm-hmm. and he was a driving force in the recovery.
Yeah, I got a chance to really become friends with him after that fact, and he's been on here on the station several different times. But I was thinking to myself, I was like, these are the types of folks that I would like to have in charge whenever there's a disaster, to be able to get stuff done and be able to get people out before there's an issue of life being threatened.
Well, I would agree with that, but like I mentioned earlier, if you've got politics that tend to dominate what could actually happen with silly laws like the Posse Comitatus Act, then, there were impediments. Mm-hmm. And, Gerard, I'll be honest with you, man. If there was another Hurricane Katrina, God forbid, the same kind of scenario, I think, this could happen again. I hate to say that, but it's quite possible because the laws are still out there, and if anything, the politics in this country are even more divided, even more divisive right now than they've ever been.
Well, let's go back to Katrina here for a minute. I want your thoughts on this one. And this one might take the rest of the show, but I'm willing to say, okay, you got this. If you had to go back through all of it, from the time that you're getting the weather forecast from the National Weather Service, you talking to the meteorologists and having to make these decisions about the city or the last place to resort, which was the Superdome, and all the other decisions that was made during that time, what would you have done? If you overlooked it, what would you have done differently?
Oh, wow.
If anything.
I just think back to, what could we have done to even encourage more people to leave the city? Could we have made more noise? Could we have pre-staged Greyhound buses to get people out after the storm as quickly as possible? Could we have pre-staged more boats to be able to go out and save more people? Could I have been more encouraging to the governor and to the president to work together closer than what they did? I mean, there's so many things that I think about we could have done better, or even to think through and challenge the Corps of Engineers to make sure that the levee systems would have been sufficient enough to handle a storm like Hurricane Katrina. We spent billions of dollars upgrading the hurricane protection system to much higher heights than we've ever had before. Mm-hmm. Maybe we should have thought about that before. The contraflow, I think, worked okay. I mean, I don't think there's ever been a city that has evacuated the number of people or gotten the people out of harm's way as we did. Mm-hmm. Maybe we could have opened up the convention center sooner to get more people out. I mean, it's just looking at what happened and trying to figure out what could have been done quicker and better. And I don't know, man. It's just, I hope we never have to go through it again.
There's something I don't even know if anybody ever said this to you, but one of the things I give you a whole bunch of credit for, you and Sayon Quiet, who was your communications director at that point in time, because I even made the mistake of going on the air and talking about why this building wasn't open and city building should be open. All you need to do is gut it and replace the sheetrock and going up in there to make sure the AC is done and da-da-da. One thing you did after I said I had to go back and I made a mistake in saying this. You, Sayon, and whoever was head of, I forgot the man's name. He was the head of capital projects at that time.
Okay.
Came in and sat down in my office on the second floor of the radio station and said, "We brought the book." I said, "What book?" You said, "I got the book, which is the schematics of all the buildings that the city owns."
Right.
And one of those things that I learned at the time was you kept using words that I said I never thought about using the word. And one of those words I never forget, because you're one of the first ones that said, you said, after we dewatered the system. I said, dewatered? What do you mean dewatered? He said, gee, we had to get all of that water out of the city. He said, we got these guys came in, what was it, from Denmark or somewhere?
Yep. Look, man, the big thing that I think, people know, but they really don't know, is that the city of New Orleans is shaped like a bowl. Mm-hmm. And the closer you are to the lake or to the river, that's the higher ground. And once you get a breach of that system, the water's going to flow, man. Right. And then I'll never forget Marcia St. Martin, who was over the Sewage and Water Board. She kept advising me. She said, Mr. Mayor, these pumps are working, but I'm really concerned because the power station, I think it's somewhere in Carrollton, the power station is getting ready to flood. And she kept telling me that, but it didn't dawn on me until she told it to me about 2 or 3 times. She said, when that power station floods, none of the pumps can work. And when that happened, the city flooded, and we had to send out the pumps to get them refurbished before we could start pumping again. And then we had people from Denmark to come in to help us to get the water out. And then the water was contaminated.
Contaminated, yeah. So that's one of the words that I had learned from you when you started talking about dewatering. And then I was like, oh, okay. But you went on also to say, look, there's no way in the world that I can tell you that we're going to gut these buildings and then put everything back up and then open those buildings up for folks. He said, I got all this mold. And then the other thing was you found out that, these buildings that were sitting in that water for weeks at a time, that water was corroding the infrastructure of the building and weakening the infrastructure. And I never thought about, you stick pipes and lead pipes in or studs in the water for a certain period of time, it's going to corrode them.
Look, man, 80% of the city was not only flooded, it was damaged and corrupted by the flood waters. So, and here's the other thing that compounded things. The federal government, they passed a lot of money and was supposedly sending it to us, but they sent it through the state first and then to us last, which complicated things. But in addition to that, before we could spend any of that money, we had to do environmental reviews and assessments and submit that. And instead of them allowing us to do an environmental assessment for the whole city, we had to do an environmental assessment for each individual project.
Wow.
Which slowed things down tremendously. And it was a bunch of stuff, man. It was almost like there was a force out there that didn't want to see us recover.
Wow. And I have to give you a lot of props. You didn't go nowhere. I mean, at some point in time, I was telling you, I was like, bro, you need to slow down a little bit or something. You was like, I got to get it done.
You know what, man? People got mad at me, especially the local press. God bless their souls. They had evacuated to other parts out of the city, out of state, what have you. And they wanted me to travel to their new studios or temporary studios to do interviews. And I was like, oh, no. If you guys want to do interviews, you got to come into the city, and we'll make sure that you get an escort to come in. And then they got upset because I was doing national interviews because the national people were here.
Right.
So I was not going to leave the city, especially when people were still in the Superdome and in the convention center.
Well, I just want to say every year, like we usually do, thank you for what you did. I know that your family was worried. Everybody was worried. And you were not only talking to the folks of the city that were all over the country, but you had no problem in standing up to some of the political folks, including the President of the United States at that time.
Yeah, that was something, man. But you know what? When all of our citizens were suffering, man, that was the thing to do. And then, people started calling for moratoriums in the Lower Ninth Ward and other parts of the city, and not calling for a moratorium on areas that were closer to the Gulf of Mexico or had lower lying areas in the Lower Ninth Ward. So, I felt the need to speak up for all of our people, whether they were black, white, or indifferent, and to basically say everybody had a right to return, and I was going to make sure that the president and the governor also held to that standard.
Let me ask you this here before I let you go, because one of the things that I think was a must-read that any and everybody should have was your book, Katrina Secrets.
Yeah, that's still out there. You can get it on Amazon.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to try to find out. Did you still have any of them still out there?
Oh, yeah. There's, at the community bookstore, they still have them, and, people can order them, get a copy. Yeah, but it'll give you an insider's look at everything that we went through. And, I've updated and revised it a little bit, so it's a little more streamlined, and it's easy to read. So, if you want to check it out, it's got good ratings on Amazon. You can learn a little bit from that.
Yeah. And then last but not least, my condolences on the loss of your dad.
Thank you.
Because I know that wasn't highly publicized a lot, maybe here in the city, but from us to you and your family that we want to make sure that we say our condolences. And look, this is an open microphone for you whenever you need it.
All right. Well, I appreciate that, and I appreciate all the good wishes and prayers from all the people around the city and around the country. Hey, sometimes life throws you some curveballs, man. You just gotta, absorb it and keep moving.
Yeah, absolutely. Mr. Mayor, thank you, sir. I appreciate the conversation. Always good, and thank you for your service and what you did for the city.
And thank you, sir, for keeping the citizens informed and keep doing what you're doing. And I'll be back whenever you need me, man.
All right. Appreciate you again, sir. Thank you much.
God bless you.
All right, you too.
God bless the city.
Bye-bye. All right, that is former Mayor Ray Nagin, who was the mayor of the city of New Orleans during this time of Hurricane Katrina.
Hey, New Orleans, Tavis Smiley here, inviting you to join me each weekday evening at 7 p.m. right here on WBOK 1230 a.m. for the Tavis Smiley Show. You can expect great guests and getting the answers you need to know. It's the Tavis Smiley Show on our new home in New Orleans, WBOK 1230 a.m.
Tavis Smiley. Ranked number 45 on the Heavy 100 list of the 100 most important radio talk show hosts in America. It's Off the Top with Norman Robinson on WBOK 1230 a.m.
With the presidential election on the horizon in November, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Does your vote actually count? I raise the question for those who choose to sit on their behind and whine rather than exercise their constitutional right to vote. The late civil rights leader and Congressman John Lewis in 2020, in a message directed to African Americans, stated, "The vote is the most powerful nonviolent change agent you have in a democratic society. You must use it because it is not guaranteed you can lose it." Congressman Lewis and a litany of African Americans, men, women, and children, risks life and limb in the fight to gain voting rights for Black Americans. A right, by the way, that was only granted to African Americans 59 years ago. I was 13 years old in March of 1965 as I watched Hosea Williams of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference and John Lewis of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee organize a march for voting rights in the state of Alabama. 600 marchers were stopped at the infamous Edmund Pettus Bridge outside Selma by Alabama law enforcement officers and brutally beaten and bloodied in an attack that would go down in history as Bloody Sunday. Viewers who witnessed the attack were outraged. After a federal judge intervened, 300 marchers joined a second walk from Selma to Montgomery. Their powerful commitment aided the passage of the 1965 Voting Rights Act, 5 months later passed by Congress and signed by then-President Lyndon Johnson. But here we are, 59 years later, folks, and the fight continues. In 2013, the U.S. Supreme Court reversed part of the Voting Rights Act, effectively removing federal oversight of state and local voting laws. Since then, several states have now enacted more restrictive and discriminatory voter laws, which include practices like strict photo ID requirements, reduced early voting, the elimination of same-day registration, and annual voter registration drives, and more.
Sid's been thinking about
and yet
getting
I
dentures
still
for a
hear
while.
these stupid
We'll picture that.
conversations among some African Americans who decry that your vote doesn't count. I ask you, if that were the case, why are they trying so hard to keep you away from the ballot box? Your ancestors wanted the right to vote because it is the basis for democracy. When people have the right to vote, they are able to push the government to do things that benefit those people. So don't sit on your rusty, dusty behind and whine. Go vote, damn it. This is Norman Robinson, Off the
The
Top.
New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation is the nonprofit organization that owns the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival presented by Shell. With the funds generated from Jazz Fest, the foundation invests in Louisiana companies through economic development, cultural enrichment, and free educational programs. To learn more about what the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation does, please visit www.jazzandheritage.org.
Tune in every Wednesday at 12 noon to What's Growing New Orleans. Hosted by Angel Vanderpool, What's Growing New Orleans is a weekly conversation about developing and growing Black businesses throughout the region. Brought to you by the New Orleans Regional Black Chamber of Commerce.
All right, folks, welcome back. Welcome back. Gerard Stevens with you. Friday, 504-582-9422 is the number. Sekou. Sekou? Did we miss him? Sekou, we missed you. Coming back. Yeah, and just in case you hadn't missed that interview, that was former Mayor Ray Nagin, who was here during all the hoopla during Hurricane Katrina. I got so many text messages from folks saying, man, I missed it. Can you tell them to play it again? That's why we wanted to repeat it and play it for you. So that's what that was. All right. So let me tell you what we got coming up in the next hour. Oh, baby, we're going back to politics. Everybody just went, what? What? Yeah. Did you get a chance to watch the Kamala Harris and Tim Walz interview on CNN? Did you get a chance to watch it? What you say, Cool?
Hey, how you doing, man?
Good, doctor. How you doing?
I got some stories too. I was living in California when y'all got hit, man, and that levees broke and the levees got exploded, whatever, and all that water rushed into the city of New Orleans. And General is still there, a lieutenant general, right? Well, he took charge, man. I saw him in action all over the place over there. And you was out there in the night wall with that big bush hole knocking them trees down, or big bushes that have grown up, all that water.
I'm glad you said that, Sekou. Nobody believed that. Nobody could believe that I was out there driving that thing. Don't nobody believe that I drive that thing. See, but the only person that saw me.
You was driving that thing like you've been doing that for years, bro. As a farmer,
I was a country boy. Look at
Gerard up on. I got pictures of you up on that.
On that.
Dog, man.
Yep.
And
I got pictures too. Jazz don't even believe me.
Of General telling that National Guard was pointing a rifle at the black community. A man was standing outside the truck. It was in a truck.
Yep.
And he was doing a tour of the city. General was everywhere, man, moving around and stuff and checking things out. Yep. He really took charge, right? And he put order in, brought back order, right? And he told just know, I don't know what his rank was, but he was pointing a M14 rifle at the citizens and stuff. The dude said, "Put that rifle down, fool. What's wrong with you?" And that dude, he put it down too, you know.
Yep.
So it was heroes, you and Mr. Nagin, right?
Yep.
Ray Nagin was everywhere, man. I saw Ray Nagin talking to the president, talking to the people, talking to the state government, talking to. He was all over the place too. Y'all, all three of y'all, was deeply immersed in this whole thing, bro. Y'all each played a powerful role in your respective expertise.
Mm-hmm.
I'm out the way, bro. I'm just trying to chill, and I hope we get some more rain so it can cool things out a little bit.
Yes, indeed. There you go.
You take care now.
You too.
All right,
how you
brother.
feeling? You feeling all right?
Yeah, I'm hanging in there, bro. I'm hanging in there.
All right, good to know.
I like Jazz voice. Jazz have a good interaction with you and the other on the cat.
He in there shaking his head right now.
Had those different shows.
He in there shaking his head right now about you.
Know,
what you just
what
said.
He
don't
about.
believe you.
Jazz definitely know what he's talking about. When
he don't believe you. Say cool.
I'm out of here, man.
Say cool.
I'm
Jazz
trying
in
to
there shaking his head at you. He don't believe you.
Get myself together here.
He ain't hear me.
I'll be in touch, bro. God willing, I'll be around, brother.
All right, my brother. All right, talk to you later. All right, that's it. We got news coming up next. What, bro? What?
That's what you get for trying to be salty. Just
you don't believe
just trying to be salty.
No, you sitting up there shaking your head like
just trying to be salty for no reason.
Bro, you know you.
See how I'm talking about?
How you gonna lie like that? I'm being salty.
Boy, you something
tell
else,
that big
boy.
old lie.
Just because
They
you,
ain't even a fib. They
you something else.
Say, man, play the news, right? I ain't even gonna argue with you. More coming up, folks. Everybody hold tight.
WBOK 1230 AM New Orleans. Home of the reality check. Weekdays 1 to 4 p.m.
This news report is brought to you by New Schools for New Orleans.
I'm Ree Harris, and here's the latest from the Black Information Network. We're following a developing story out of Dallas, Texas, where a police officer is dead and 2 others wounded following a shooting last night. It's not clear what led to the initial shots, but officers responding to the scene found an officer shot in his marked patrol car. They also located a suspect who fled the scene, but was eventually killed in an exchange of gunfire. One of the injured officers is reportedly in critical condition at this time. Forecasters are closely watching a tropical wave that could be the next tropical depression or storm. The system is currently producing some disorganized showers and thunderstorms over the central tropic Atlantic. And that's the latest. I'm Ree Harris on your home for 24/7 news, the Black Information Network, and BINnews.com.
New Schools for New Orleans wants to welcome all of our teachers, school leaders, students, and families back for the 24-25 school year. In addition, we want to send a big shout out to our education community for all of their hard work this past school year. Orleans Parish improved students' learning mastery plus by 2 percentage points since last school year. Also, New Orleans Public Schools grew 3 percentage points in the areas of English language arts and math in all grade levels. Let's continue to make more academic gains this school year.
All right, folks, welcome back. Gerard Stevens with you. It's Friday. Thank goodness for that. What you say there, big boss man Ronald?
Well, I want to finish painting that whole picture of you on the bush hog and all those rodents was coming out those bushes. You holler, oh, God, what is that?
Yep.
You saw possums, squirrels, alligators, snakes was running. That was amazing.
Hey,
and I was so glad.
Hold on,
I was
Ronald.
there.
No, he ain't lying.
Hold on, Ronald.
He ain't lying.
Do that,
Yes, sir.
do that impression one more time.
Want me to be screaming like a little girl?
You holler, oh, no.
Say it like with a
must have
higher
hit a-
voice. A higher voice.
He
It
was
was not.
high. He was higher than that.
Yes,
Jan.
sir. I was
And the way it went,
falsetto. Mm-hmm.
they had a possum with all the babies on them running out
No.
there. I said,
Now
oh,
you're going
no.
far. Now
And
you're
it was
going
all
far. I ain't
over
had
the
nothing
place.
with no possum. That was a snake.
Yeah,
A
that was
sidewinder
no,
snake.
that was a possum, Gerard. It was a big possum with the babies hanging on him. Reverend Cotton got off the bush hog and let you get on. And when you hit the lot, everything was running out there.
Everything ran out there. I
Squirrels.
saw them
Yeah.
sidewinder snakes. I was like, oh no, that was enough for me right there. I was done. Yep.
But you didn't get off. You stayed on there.
Mhm.
It was interesting how the community, Big Mike was like, well, he said, Mike said, run straight and the snake won't catch you. And he was putting water down.
Yep.
Everybody, it was a real good community event. But, I stayed through the hurricane through the whole 9 yards.
Mhm.
And we camped out at Walmart. It was a very interesting night. But one person we forgetting, Oliver Thomas got so much in the George Bush head. You know what he started calling Oliver? Big O. I mean, Oliver was on him. He got close to him, and it was just going. And when he came to New Orleans, he was asking, where's Big O?
Yep.
And I commend him, the mayor, and all you guys in Grayling. Grayling was another one, and Paul. There was another one, and Fred. They was instrumental in recording a lot of stuff. And Renard Thomas, they were here. And I was just glad to be in their company. But a lot of stuff that haven't made the news that happened, they don't even talk about. And it was just amazing. It was amazing what went on. But everybody, that's real resilience to me. The folks' names that I call, they stayed there every day. And there was times where they passed the helicopter, dropped fluid on it. Everybody thought we was burning up. Then they had a rumor that the Russians was in the Gulf coming to get it. You name it. But really what got me was St. Bernard Parish had no help. They had a country. I forgot the country had to come down and rescue them because the graves was floating down the highway. It was a lot of stuff going on. And like I say, resilience for those folks' names that I call. And like I say, when they tell Nick, I think the president wanted Nagin to go out on airline and take a shower. He said, you just have to take my phone and all. We got to get these people out of here.
And then he got a chance to go in. He said, well, at least go on the plane.
Yeah.
And take this. So he went
Yeah,
on.
Oliver too. Oliver went.
I think they
with
went
his
on
kids.
Air Force One to take the plane, take a
Yep.
shower. Mm-hmm.
There was a guy that used to be at the bus stop on Carrollton and Tulane. He had drowned, and the things had ate his eyes out. And I seen Big Oliver crying in a boat on the top of the Tulane overpass.
Mm-hmm.
All right. But he didn't stop working. He still was pulling people up. They was getting people up, and Oliver had tears flowing out his eyes. And he got his parents out, and he just was working, looking like, shirt was wet, stinky, dirty, but he was still at it. And I witnessed the police in the St. Bernard Park, Michael Roussel. The little lady was bringing the baby out, and the baby fell in the water.
Mm-hmm.
He jumped down there, got the baby, put it in the boat. Later on that night, he went through a frenzy. He didn't know how to swim. This is the stuff that happened. This guy didn't know how to swim, but he got in the water and got the baby out. He was in the project. And I'm saying it has people doing some spectacular things. And, they stayed focused on what was going on. And I still would always, two people that they never give credit to. The engineers at City Hall saved this city. The guy broke his leg going to work, kept the generator going, and they found out all this stuff was dependent on a 9-volt battery. And the guys from Suji Water Board, they worked tirelessly and over again. And it was under the command of Tommy Vassell. All right, so they had folks, you never hear these stories that I could tell them I was on the front line. And I'm so glad I witnessed this, and I'm glad I was here. And even after the hurricane passed, when we did in the Lord Ninth Ward, that was some beautiful work. People were able to walk in their neighborhood, to come back home and see their property and the whole 9 yards. So my hat's off to everybody. If I miss your name, don't blame it on my heart, blame it on my head. But y'all did a great job.
Yeah, because you got old now.
Yeah, I don't have no problem with that. And, I don't have no problem saying that. Yes, I am. And I hope to get older.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And look, he does not believe, because he's still giving me the look. I wish everybody could see him. I wish you could turn that camera around so everybody could see him. He does not believe that we was on those bush hogs out there in the Lord Ninth Ward.
I was standing right there. Reverend Cotton said, "You want to get it, man?" He said, "Yeah, man, I got it." And Gerard hit the field. Man.
Some of everything came running.
You name it. It was coming out. And we was like, Big Mike said, "Those are snakes, they're moccasin. Don't run straight because they won't catch it."
Yeah, because they were sidewinders. They were doing sidewinders. Yep,
yeah,
I never forget that.
Run straight, they can't catch you.
Yeah. No, I wasn't running straight. I was screaming like a little girl. I had never seen nothing like that in all my life. I was like, them things were moving
what is this?
fast.
And it was coming out too, bro.
And when I tell you they were just coming out of the ground, they were coming out a hole in the ground. I was like, where they coming from? And they were sidewinding, just coming up there. I was like, oh no, I was gonna put the bush hog on them.
Yeah, but it was great work.
And then Reverend Collins said, "Don't put that bush hog on them. What they're gonna do? They're gonna get in there, and then they're gonna be able to climb up the tractor." I was like, "Oh no,
oh no,
no sir."
Yeah, it was interesting. It was very interesting, and that was and another thing after that, we had this march downtown that Saturday morning,
right?
And it was another event where you name it, everybody in the city was there. Big Mike again, he came with the water.
Yep.
Came with the water. That's resilience on what happened. So, they talk about the 1,300 people that they have not accounted for. We know it's more than that. And there's a documentary coming out. I'll share it with you off the phone because they're still working on it. You're going to be shocked when you see this, man. I guarantee you. You're going to be shocked.
Yes, indeed.
You're going to be real shocked. And it's an off-the-phone conversation because they're working on it.
Okay.
It's coming out of New York. Yeah, and I'm going to make sure that you be on the forefront for that. But Gerard, thank you again for a great topic, and all the folks that, even like I said, if I miss your name, just blame it on my head, not my heart, because I know what you did.
Today they're gonna have that big meeting. Well, not a big meeting, but a thank you for Damon Singleton. That is going to be over at the Jazz Market.
Jazz Market, yeah.
Yeah, for 7:00 this evening. I may have to pass over there for that one.
Yeah, well, I know where my head was.
Yeah.
I'm on the fight team.
Yeah.
I don't celebrate. I'm ready to fight, but when we get ready to fight, I'm there. I don't do too much to celebrate.
I got you.
Yeah, when they're ready, I'm ready.
I got you.
You know, you pull the trigger.
All right.
All right.
I'll talk to you later.
Thank you again, Gerard. Keep up the good work. You too, Jazz. All right.
How come you don't believe that, man? So I just posted something on my Facebook page. People can go to my Facebook page. Let's see. Yeah, it just posted. And it is a photo that I got a chance to interview these gentlemen right after Hurricane Katrina. It's been some years ago. So I posted it. It's myself, Ray Nagin, and General Honore. And I was thinking about that photo after I was like, man, I got a chance to take a photo with the men that actually saved the city. Yeah, think about something. Ray Nagin stopped the city from going bankrupt after Hurricane Katrina. A lot of people don't realize that the city was getting ready to go bankrupt, and he did all he could do to keep the city from going bankrupt. So I posted that photo for those who want to check it out so that you can see it. And then I got somebody else that just said, man, yeah, see if you can post a photo of you on that bush hog. I don't believe you on no bush hog road.
Okay.
What?
Don't nobody believe that.
I got photos.
Well,
You-
that's what. Yeah, that's what I thought.
No, I really do.
Yeah, well,
Right here
well.
on Facebook.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Post it.
I don't know why you got a problem believing this. Why do you have a problem believing this?
I don't know. It's just hey, yeah.
You know, I told you I was a country boy,
I know.
and let me see, because I had a little boy. It's actually Monica McKay's little boy. He ain't no little boy no more. I think Quinn got to be like 18, 19 years old now, but he was a little boy when we were doing this. He got to be at least 20, 21, because he was about 6, and he wanted to ride with me in there. On that, so I got the photo of me and Quinn in the tractor. I was actually driving the tractor and stopped so that she could take a photo. So she took a photo. She couldn't believe it either. I was like, y'all got to remember something. I'm a country boy. I was raised in the country.
So you say. I mean, how do we know that? You, all you gonna do is just sit
I
there
can't
and
do nothing but
shake
shake my
your
head, right? Can't do nothing but shake. What you think of just?
You might be a clone.
A what?
A clone. You might not even really be Gerard.
You might be right, because sometimes I do feel like I am somebody else. Mm-hmm. Let me find these other photos, because you.
Somebody else telling you might be a clone.
Huh?
Is somebody telling you a clone?
No, that's actually a very important telephone call that of a interview that I'm trying to get. I'm gonna call him back for next week. I'm trying to get that interview. I'm gonna tell you about it off air. You're gonna be like, "What? That's a clone too. That's a clone too." That's what you're gonna say. They cloning you, for real.
Nah, I was wondering if it was with the clone people. Thought you might have been interviewing the clone people.
Yeah, that's
the
him.
clone industry.
That's him. The clone industry. That's what it is. One of the things too that I want to make sure that everybody got a chance to see. Did you get a chance to see the interview of Tim Walz and Kamala Harris together on CNN last night? And what you thought about the interview? So we're gonna break down the segments of the interview, and then come back. All right, let's play the first segment, and then we'll go to break, and then we'll take telephone calls. All right, so this is the first segment of that interview, and tell me what you thought about it. Did it answer any of your questions? Here we go.
Madam Vice President, Governor Walz, thank you so much for sitting down with me and bringing the bus. The bus tour is well underway here in Georgia. You have less time to make your case to voters than any candidate in modern American history. The voters are really eager to hear what your plans are. If you are elected, what would you do on day one in the White House?
Well, there are a number of things. I will tell you, first and foremost, one of my highest priorities is to do what we can to support and strengthen the middle class. When I look at the aspirations, the goals, the ambitions of the American people, I think that people are ready for a new way forward. in a way that generations of Americans have been fueled by hope and by optimism. I think, sadly, in the last decade, we have had in the former president someone who has really been pushing an agenda and an environment that is about diminishing the character and the strength of who we are as Americans, really dividing our nation, and I think people are ready to turn the page on that.
So what would you do day one?
Day one, it's going to be about, one, implementing my plan for what I call an opportunity economy. I've already laid out a number of proposals in that regard, which include what we're going to do to bring down the cost of everyday goods, what we're going to do to invest in America's small businesses, what we're going to do to invest in families, for example, extending the child tax credit to $6,000 for families for the first year of their child's life, to help them buy a car seat, to help them buy baby clothes, a crib. There's the work that we're going to do that is about investing in the American family around affordable housing, a big issue in our country right now. So there are a number of things on day one.
What about you?
Well, I'm excited about this agenda too. As I said, the idea of inspiring America to what can be, and I think many of these things that the Vice President's proposing are things that we share in values. And the child tax credit is one we know that reduces childhood poverty by a third. We did it in Minnesota. To have a federal partner in this, unbelievable, I think, in the impact that we can make.
You talked about, you call it the opportunity economy. You are well aware that right now many Americans are struggling. There's a crisis of affordability. One of your campaign themes is we're not going back. But I wonder what you say to voters who do want to go back when it comes to the economy specifically, because their groceries were less expensive, housing was more affordable when Donald Trump was president.
So today's the day. I've got my RTA mock system and Coyote appliances, and they did tell me it was only going to take a few minutes, and I gotta say, they were right. The big old box came from the shipping company. We pulled the front and back panels out, lined them up.
Well, let's start with the fact that when Joe Biden and I came in office, during the height of the pandemic, we saw over 10 million jobs were lost. People, I mean, literally, we were all tracking the numbers. Hundreds of people a day were dying because of COVID. The economy had crashed. In large part, all of that because of mismanagement by Donald Trump of that crisis. When we came in, our highest priority was to do what we could to rescue America, and today we know that we have inflation at under 3%. A lot of our policies have led to the reality that America recovered faster than any wealthy nation around the world. But you are right. Prices, in particular for groceries, are still too high. The American people know it, I know it, which is why my agenda includes what we need to do to bring down the price of groceries. For example, dealing with an issue like price gouging. What we need to do to extend the child tax credit to help young families be able to take care of their children in their most formative years. What we need to do to bring down the cost of housing. My proposal includes what would be a tax credit of $25,000 for first-time home buyers, so they can just have enough to put a down payment on a home, which is part of the American dream and their aspiration, but do it in a way that allows them to actually get on the path to achieving that goal and that dream.
So you have been vice president for 3.5 years.
Yeah.
The steps that you're talking about now, why haven't you done them already?
Well, first of all, we had to recover as an economy, and we have done that. I'm very proud of the work that we have done that has brought inflation down to less than 3%. The work that we have done to cap the cost of insulin at $35 a month for seniors. Donald Trump said he was going to do a number of things, including allowing Medicare to negotiate drug prices. Never happened. We did it. So now, as I travel in the state of Georgia and around our country, the number of seniors that have benefited. I was in Nevada recently, a grandmother who showed me her receipts. And before we capped the cost of insulin for seniors at $35 a month, she was paying hundreds of dollars, up to thousands of dollars a month for her insulin. She's not doing that anymore.
You maintain Bidenomics. is a success?
I maintain that when we do the work of bringing down prescription medication for the American people, including capping the cost of the annual cost of prescription medication for seniors at $2,000, when we do what we did in the first year of being in office to extend the child tax credit so that we cut child poverty in America by over 50%, when we do what we have done to invest in the American people and bringing manufacturing back to the United States so that we created over 800,000 new manufacturing jobs, bringing business back to America, what we have done to improve the supply chain so we're not relying on foreign governments to supply American families with their basic needs, I'll say that that's good work. There's more to do, but that's good work.
I want to get some clarity on where you stand on some key policy issues. Energy is a big one. When you were in Congress, you supported the Green New Deal. And in 2019, you said, quote, "There's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking." Fracking, as you know, is a pretty big issue, particularly in your must-win state of Pennsylvania.
Sure.
Do you still want to ban fracking?
No, and I made that clear on the debate stage in 2020, that I would not ban fracking. As vice president, I did not ban fracking. As president, I will not ban fracking.
In 2019, I believe, at a town hall, you said, you were asked, would you commit to implementing a federal ban on fracking on your first day in office? And you said, there's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking. So yes. So it changed in that campaign?
In 2020, I made very clear where I stand. We are in 2024, and I've not changed that position, nor will I going forward. I kept my word, and I will keep my word.
What made you change that position at the time?
Well, let's be clear. My values have not changed. I believe it is very important that we take seriously what we must do to guard against what is a clear crisis in terms of the climate. And to do that, we can do what we have accomplished thus far. The Inflation Reduction Act, what we have done to invest, by my calculation, over probably $1 trillion over the next 10 years, in investing in a clean energy economy. What we've already done, creating over 300,000 new clean energy jobs. That tells me, from my experience as vice president, we can do it without banning fracking. In fact, Dana, I cast the tie-breaking vote that actually increased leases for fracking as vice president. So I'm very clear about where I stand.
And was there some policy or scientific data that you saw that you said, oh, okay, I get it now?
What I have seen is that we can grow and we can increase a thriving clean energy economy without banning fracking.
Okay.
Paying your bills on time raises your credit score, right? Wrong. In fact, this is one of the 3
All right, there you go. We got to take the break. We'll come back in just a minute with more of the conversation piece with the vice president and her running mate, Tim Walz. Did you get a chance to see it? And what did you think? 504-582-9422. More coming up, y'all. Everybody hold tight.
Find us online. Did you know that you can now listen to your favorite show whenever you want? How? Just go to www.wbok1230.com. Click on the Talk tab and select your favorite show. There you'll see your favorite host and the show from each day. And be sure to follow us on Facebook at WBOK1230AM, Instagram at WBOK.1230, and TikTok at WBOK1230AM.
The New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation is the nonprofit organization that owns the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival presented by Shell. With the funds generated from Jazz Fest, the foundation invests in Louisiana communities through economic development, cultural enrichment, and free educational programs. To learn more about the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation, please visit us at www.jazzandheritage.org.
Visit DePaul's new Algiers Health Center at 2801 General de Gaulle Drive to receive primary and preventive care for both adults and children. Services also include behavioral health, imaging, an on-site pharmacy, vision, Medicaid enrollment assistance, and more. For appointments, visit DePaulCommunityHealthCenters.org or call 504-207-3060.
Hello, WBOK listening audience. This
is Pastor Robert Tanner of the Community Church of River Ridge, Louisiana, inviting you to tune in to our Sunday morning broadcast at 10 a.m. every Sunday morning right here on WBOK 1230 a.m. That's Community Church with Pastor Robert Tanner every Sunday at 10 a.m. right here on WBOK 1230.
Making a difference in the community. WBOK 1230 AM.
All right, folks, welcome back. All right, did you all get a chance to watch the interview, or nobody's interested? Because I can tell you this too, which is big news. I think it was breaking news, and it looked like the other team, the Republican team, the other team really upset about it. Is that all these folks showed up in Georgia for her for their rally that they had in Georgia? It was like standing room only. And looked like the Republican team, Mr. You-know-who, Mr. Orange Man, Orange, he seemed to be very upset that many folks showed up. And it's almost like Obama said, why are you continuously worried about crowd size? All right. You get it? Okay. I don't know why I'm talking to you today, because your sarcasm done really went all the way through there. I had to show you the photos, and you still didn't believe me. You believe me now?
Photoshop. It's a real thing.
Photoshop, huh?
It's real.
Uh-huh.
It's real.
Mm-hmm.
You even Photoshop some decent looking people in there.
Who that?
Huh?
I photoshopped some decent looking people.
Yup, around yourself.
I'm gonna tell Cedric what you say.
I wasn't necessarily talking about Cedric.
Well, that was one of the people.
That was one of the people.
Who else?
I don't know. That was several people.
Mm-hmm. Monica McKay.
Uh-huh.
Let me see.
Uh-huh.
Pastor Luda.
Keep going.
Who else?
Keep going. Keep going.
Cynthia
Get yourself in trouble.
Cynthia Willard Lewis, Monica McKay. Who else? Because you called me a big Mexican.
Yup. I'm telling you, that looked like a big fat Mexican that was driving that thing.
Pastor Luda was out there.
It wasn't Pastor Luda.
No, he was not the fat Mexican. No. Who else? Who else you was talking about? Why you gonna make me go back? I'm trying to figure out who you talking about.
Whoever the young lady was.
That's Monica. That's Monica.
Monica who?
Monica McKay.
Oh.
She married now, so I know her husband too. Oh. Both of them. And her son. Yeah. Come on with it. I'm waiting for the rest of it.
I don't know. Maybe that was Monica. I don't know.
You know Monica?
I know.
Oh.
I don't know what Monica look like. Little red lady?
Yeah. Is that how you describe people? Little red lady?
I am from the 7th Ward. So the answer to that would be
yeah. Pretty much.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the little red lady.
With the rag around,
with the bandana around her head.
All right. Yeah,
yep.
Okay.
See, you just don't know my history.
I don't.
About all the different things that we used to do.
I just know that you're ignorant.
Yeah. But you got to be ignorant to do some of these
things.
Yeah,
you got to kind of be ignorant just to live in New Orleans.
You should have seen me ignorant when we did the protest. We did.
Oh, I could see protest.
We did one of the most ignorant protests. I think.
Yeah, I could see protest G being ignorant.
Yeah.
But you know what you don't want to see?
What?
Protest jazz.
No, we don't see protest jazz. Because protest jazz ended up in handcuffs a couple of times, I think. Didn't you?
No, not really. No,
Did
not
you tell me one time you got
Yeah, but not protesting. That was on.
Oh, I thought it was a protest. I'm sorry. Oops. I thought that was the protest.
No. Normally, when I'm protesting, I'm on my best behavior, even though it's bad. My best bad behavior.
Your best
bad behavior.
Bad behavior.
Yes. Means I know how to walk the line.
All right. I think I better leave that alone. Mm-hmm. I was trying to find my protest stuff too. I got all these photos, man, and then I had to go through them and look for them, and actually I'm ignorant enough to say, oh, I categorized them. No, I didn't. No, I really didn't. But I'm thinking about this city hasn't had a real big protest in a while.
No, you know what I think? The last big protest was, they had two.
When?
Around the same time. We was still on, this was during the pandemic, the George Floyd, when it was on the interstate.
Yeah.
And when David Duke came and Byron was all in that boy's face.
Byron
Cole.
Byron Cole.
Byron Cole was all in that boy's face, screaming at him.
Yes, indeed. Well, the one that I led was down Canal Street. We scared the city. So
I was at that one.
You were there?
Yep. I didn't see it. You ain't see me get put in handcuffs.
Not
I know how to act.
Not today.
I know how to act.
But we had all the motorcycle cops and intelligence.
Wasn't it like up wasn't it on Porges or something? It wasn't on Porges?
Canal Street. Went Canal Street to City Hall.
Okay, that wasn't the one.
Let me see who was there. All the folks were there. We even had the lady who was the head of the Yaya kids. She spoke. I forgot her name. I'm looking at all the photos now. I think the head of the NAACP at that time, he spoke. Yeah. Big Mike. You heard Big Mike there. Our brothers with the Nation of Islam. At that time, Brother Amrani got on stage with us. And one of the gentlemen that we miss him very much, was the professor. We definitely miss Dr. Willard. Dr. Willard would always walk up to me and be like, "What you say, Prof? Let me tell you something, boy." I tell you who else was there. Ronald. Ronald was there. We got that. Let me see. Who else? I'm looking at all the photos.
Man, I swear, I really feel like they had another protest that didn't go to City Hall, but it went somewhere.
W.C. Johnson. That was across the street from us, when we were on Gentilly.
I feel like it was it was still in. Oh yeah. I know. I know.
He was there. He was walking with us. Vanessa Garringer. She was with us. It was plenty of folks, man, that were pissed on the corruption that was happening in the city. And it scared a lot of folks to see all these brothers and sisters getting together peacefully, marching down the street. But some mean folks out here. And I'm going to just be honest with you, there was a lot of white people standing on the sidewalks yelling, "Y'all go get a job. I want y'all to go get a job." Y'all go get a job. Boo, y'all go get a job. And then, of course, we had the NOPD motorcycle crew. You would have thought that this was for John F. Kennedy or somebody, because that's how many police on the motorcycles there. Plus, they had the intelligence crew. They were out there. Leon was with us. Leon Shabazz. He was with us, too. And then I had the head of SOD, Special Operations Division. He came up to me and said, "Can I talk to you for a minute?" I was like, "Okay." He pulled me to the side. He said, "Listen, not trying to scare you or nothing like that, but I'd like for you to meet so-and-so and so-and-so." I forgot the gentleman's name, but he was an undercover police officer. I was like, "What's up? What's up? What's happening?" He said, "Not too much, man. You know, just want you to know that I'm going to be right beside you the entire time." I'm like, "What?" I'm going to be right beside you the entire time. It's like, okay. Said, you know, just be normal. Da, 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 da. And I was like, why is he telling me this? Why is he telling me this? Come to find out that there were a couple of, they heard intelligence that there was going to be a threat on my life that day for folks that didn't approve of us having that march, that they were going to try to shoot at me that day. I was like, shoot. Just be prepared that I got some boys out here in the street that'll shoot back. And we did. And we did. We didn't shoot back at nobody, but I mean, I had my guys. I'm just saying. My guys were coming. They was with us, and they was heavy to bear. Heavy to bear. So I leave that part alone. All right, let's go back to our original stuff here when we're talking about what we saw with Kamala and Tim Walz in their interview. Did you watch it? All right, go ahead, Jazz.
Another issue, big one, is immigration. As Vice President, you were tasked with addressing the root causes of migration in southern countries and
northern part of Central America.
The northern part of Central America that affects the southern border of the U.S. During the Biden-Harris administration, there were record numbers of illegal border crossings. Why did the Biden-Harris administration wait 3.5 years to implement sweeping asylum restrictions?
Well, first of all, the root causes work that I did as vice president, that I was asked to do by the president, has actually resulted in a number of benefits, including historic investments by American businesses in that region. The number of immigrants coming from that region has actually reduced since we began that work. But I will say this, that Joe Biden and I and our administration worked with members of the United States Congress on an immigration issue that is very significant to the American people and to our security, which is the border. And through bipartisan work, including some of the most conservative members of the United States Congress, a bill was crafted, which we supported, which I support. And Donald Trump got word of this bill that would have contributed to securing our border, and because he believes that it would not have helped him politically, he told his folks in Congress, don't put it forward. He killed the bill. A border security bill that would have put 1,500 more agents on the border. And let me tell you something, the Border Patrol endorsed the bill. And I'm sure in large part because they knew they were working around the clock, and 1,500 more agents would help them. That bill would have allowed us to increase seizures of fentanyl. Ask any community in America that has been devastated by fentanyl what passing that bill would have done to address their concern and pain that they've experienced.
So you would push that legislation again. I just want to
Not
ask
only
about
push it, I will make sure that it comes to my desk and I would sign it.
just one other question about something that you said in 2019 when you first ran. there was a debate. You raised your hand when asked whether or not the border should be decriminalized. Do you still believe that?
Do you own your own home in Louisiana but still rent your electricity? For a limited time only, homeowners in specific zip codes who pay more than $70 a month in electricity bills can now switch to solar without paying a dime out of pocket. This program is only a good fit for those who pay more than $70 a month in electricity and have a history of paying their bills on time. So, if this isn't you, no hard feelings. Go ahead and click the skip button below. But if this does sound like you may have been skeptical about making the switch to solar because you were afraid of the huge price tag attached. Don't worry, great news incoming in 13 seconds. That's because going solar is now extremely affordable. You can do it without paying a single dime on a down payment, meaning you'll finally be able to cut costs on your electric bills. It all starts by clicking the button below and taking our energy savings quiz. Once you answer a few short questions, we'll let you know if you qualify. Homeowners who switch can save.
I believe there should be consequence. We have laws that have to be followed and enforced that address and deal with people who cross our border illegally, and there should be consequence. And let's be clear, in this race, I'm the only person who has prosecuted transnational criminal organizations who traffic in guns, drugs, and human beings. I'm the only person in this race who actually served a border state as Attorney General to enforce our laws, and I would enforce our laws as president going forward. I recognize the problem.
Generally speaking, how should voters look at some of the changes that you've made, that you've explained some of here in your policy? Is it because you have more experience now and you've learned more about the information? Is it because you were running for president in a Democratic primary? And should they feel comfortable and confident that what you're saying now is going to be your policy moving forward?
Dana, I think the most important and most significant aspect of my policy perspective and decisions is my values have not changed. You mentioned the Green New Deal. I have always believed, and I've worked on it, that the climate crisis is real, that it is an urgent matter to which we should apply metrics that include holding ourselves to deadlines around time. We did that with the Inflation Reduction Act. We have set goals for the United States of America and by extension the globe around when we should meet certain standards for reduction of greenhouse gas emissions, as an example. That value has not changed. My value around what we need to do to secure our border, that value has not changed. I spent 2 terms as the Attorney General of California prosecuting transnational criminal organizations, violations of American laws regarding the illegal passage of guns, drugs, and human beings across our border. My values have not changed. So that is the reality of it. In 4 years of being vice president, I'll tell you, one of the aspects to your point is traveling the country extensively. I mean, I'm here in Georgia. I think somebody told me 17 times since I've been vice president in Georgia alone. I believe it is important to build consensus, and it is important to find a common place of understanding of where we can actually solve problems.
On that note, you had a lot of Republican speakers at the convention. Yeah. Will you appoint a Republican to your cabinet?
Yes, I would.
Anyone in mind?
Yes, I would. No one in particular in mind. We got 68 days to go with this election, so I'm not putting the cart before the horse, but I would. I think it's really important. I have spent my career inviting diversity of opinion. I think it's important to have people at the table when some of the most important decisions are being made that have different views, different experiences. And I think it would be to the benefit of the American public to have a member of my cabinet who was a Republican.
I want to ask you about your opponent, Donald Trump. Okay. I was a little bit surprised. People might be surprised to hear that you have never interacted with him, met him face to face. That's going to change soon. But what I want to ask you about is what he said last month. He suggested that you happened to turn black recently for political purposes, questioning a core part of your identity.
Yeah. Same old tired playbook. Next question, please.
That's it?
That's it.
Okay. Let's talk about some foreign policy issues that would be on your plate if you become commander-in-chief. President Biden has tried unsuccessfully to end the war between Israel and Hamas in Gaza. He's been doing it for months and months, along with you. Would you do anything differently? For example, would you withhold some U.S. weapons shipments to Israel? That's what a lot of people on the progressive left want you to do.
Let me be very clear. I'm unequivocal and unwavering in my commitment to Israel's defense and its ability to defend itself. And that's not going to change. But let's take a step back. October 7, 1,200 people were massacred. Many young people who were simply attending a music festival. Women were horribly raped. As I said then, I say today, Israel has a right to defend itself. We would. And how it does so matters. Far too many innocent Palestinians have been killed. And we have got to get a deal done. We were in Doha. We have to get a deal done. This war must end.
In the meantime,
and we must get a deal that is about getting the hostages out. I've met with the families of the American hostages. Let's get the hostages out. Let's get the ceasefire done.
But no change in policy in terms of arms and so forth.
No, we have to get a deal done. Dana, we have to get a deal done. When you look at the significance of this to the families, to the people who are living in that region, a deal is not only the right thing to do to end this war, but will unlock so much of what must happen next. I remain committed since I've been on October 8 to what we must do to work toward a two-state solution, where Israel is secure and in equal measure, the Palestinians have security and self-determination and dignity.
Yo, those are nice. Hold on one second.
Candace, what's up? I think my daughter's going pro at basketball.
I'll take
Wait,
those.
you're a Dix? Could you pick up an agility ladder for my daughter?
Yo, she's 3.
So what do you
Thank
think's
you.
next step?
Thank you. Yep.
All right. So just a few minutes now before we go into a break. You got a chance to hear a lot of the conversation with Kamala Harris in her first sit-down conversation with our folks over at CNN. What did you think? What did you think? So let's get it in. 504-582-9422. I got a few minutes here before we get ready to go off as well. So while you're calling, we're going to go ahead on and do our break, play our commercials, and get a couple of calls in beforehand. This was the first sit-down interview, and they did it together. We didn't get a chance to hear Tim Walz, but we did get a chance to listen to the conversation with Harris, all right, Vice President Harris. And how did you feel about it when you saw it? Do you think it was a good interview? You think it was a bad interview? What did you think? All right, we'll go into the commercial break here, and we'll come right back next with your comments right here on WBOK.
Trying to grow your business or increase traffic to your location? We can help. WBOK 1230 AM has a number of solutions that will meet your individual needs. Give one of our consultants a call today at 504-582-9420 or email us at info@wbok1230.com. And remember, an investment with WBOK is an investment in our community. Call today.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer whenever I want? Can we sleep cooler? Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. 94% of Sleep Number smart sleepers report better sleep. And now, during our biggest sale of the year, save 50% on the Sleep Number limited edition smart bed. Plus free home delivery on select smart beds when you add any base. Ends Labor Day. To find a store near you, visit sleepnumber.com.
Are you passionate about community safety and police accountability? Tune in to The Monitor's Mic, where we talk about oversight, policing, and you. Hosted by the Office of Independent Police Monitor. We're here to shine a light on policing issues that matter, from real-time policing updates to in-depth interviews. Get the facts and stay informed. We're breaking down complex issues, highlighting community voices, and holding people behind the badge accountable. Join us for an informative hour every Friday at noon on WBOK. Your city, your police, your show. The Monitor's Mic.
Tune in every Wednesday at 12 noon to What's Growing New Orleans, hosted by Angel Vanderpool. What's Growing New Orleans is a weekly conversation about developing and growing Black businesses throughout the region. Brought to you by the New Orleans Regional Black Chamber of Commerce.
Sarah,
Yes.
what'd you say?
Oh, I've been listening, so I just wanted to wish all your listeners a good weekend. And I haven't listened to you for 2 days because we have a convention here called Bill Expo. And it's about housing and all of that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I was with some Black people last night, about 200, and they're concerned about building places in the neighborhood for homeless people. So, and then too, we have what you might already know, the Board of Supervisors, and for the first time in history, it's all women. And one of the supervisors is a Black woman that I kind of know a little bit. So she conducted the meeting last night, and it said that we have two situations that need to be housed. And it said the senior citizens, there's a growing number of senior citizens that cannot afford the rent. And they mentioned that in some cases, the rent for a one-bedroom is $5,000 a month. And they're trying to figure out what they can do about the situation. So that's what the meeting was about. But I'll call you on Monday, and if you're interested, I'll tell you. Now, the general you talked about, I talked to him on your show years ago, and he also has a relative here. So anyway, life is good, and your show is good, and I listened to the former mayor, and you just have to know what these people are all about. I just listened to the interview, and this woman, this interviewer, she was trying to question Kamala Harris, and they are I don't care who they are, they're no match for her. And the creep that's supposed to have the so-called debate on the 10th, he's probably shaking in his boots because when he faces her, he has no qualification for nothing. So anyway, I just thought I would holler at you. Life is good. Mm-hmm. You good. And the people that listen to you are good. So I'll holler at you on Monday. Have a good weekend.
You do the
and
same.
Be safe.
All righty, my friend. I'll talk to you later.
Okay. Bye.
Mr. Harold's out in L.A., Los Angeles, California. There you go. A few minutes. So I wanted you all to kind of give me your insight, what you thought about the interview. I was happy on a couple of things. Let me go from the journalistic side to the impressionable side. From the journalistic side, I would say I was glad to see that the interviewer was fact-checking the interviewee. What? Yeah. I would like to see that being done all the time. If you're going to, and then listen, I don't want to make it sound like I'm being like, oh, that was unfair. Nope. No. That's not it. If you're going to fact check one, I would like to see them fact check both. Not do like Ms. Faulkner did and just let him go on and on and on and on and on. No, knowing that he's lying and not fact checking him. It even got to the point where she said, what do you think about this? If you're digging for the oil, you're trying to tell me that you're for fracking now, but you was not for fracking in 2017 because you said in 2017 this and da-da-da. And she said, well, I changed, I don't know why many of us want to go through a I gotcha moment from then to now. Have y'all noticed that? We do the I gotcha moments from then till now. Things change. It's a lot of people that make their minds up on what they want to say and what they're going to do years ago. And then it changed. Somebody that I couldn't stand 5-10 years ago, as I matured, I might not think that they're such a bad person now. Things change. So why are we so much into the, I gotcha. You said back in those days, baby. No, not more like flip-flopping Howard. Maturity. Can't be your way all the time. Just like back in the day, you probably said something and changed. I wouldn't sit there and tell you that you flip-flop. You just changed your mind. You matured. You matured. Even in politics, we can mature.
Yep.
That's what it was.
Yeah, I mean, I had something more profound to say, but
oh Lord, it was profound.
It's profound.
Oh, I thought it was gonna be like left wing, right wing.
Nah,
same bird.
Nah, I just was gonna say, like for instance, like 20 years ago, there was a whole segment of people that I just didn't like. Period, just because. And now. I can tolerate some of them.
So tolerate is a good word to use.
Yes, I can tolerate some.
And some of those folks
some
don't
of them,
mean you're no good.
Some of them don't mean any good, but some of them have actually turned out to be friends.
Ended up being pretty good people.
Pretty good people, even friends.
And I'd even say, shoot. So some of the people, they weren't wrong back then. I was.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So I could have been
absolutely.
I could have been the person that was
absolutely.
And maybe now I'm a different person. I am a different person. I know I am. I'm a different person than I was 15, 20 years ago. Because 15, 20 years ago, I didn't believe, didn't trust, didn't want to be around too many folks in the first place. I was not the same guy that I am now. And actually it had a lot to do with my job. I didn't trust nobody, and didn't want to be around and hear anybody say sad sob stories. I had enough on my plate, but I'm a different person now. So that's it. All right, folks. I hope y'all have a great weekend. We will be back on Tuesday. I hope that everybody have a good Memorial. What is it? That's Labor Day. Labor Day. Good Labor Day. Be safe out there. Don't be out here in the streets. Watch out for the rain, because we are supposed to get a lot of rain this weekend as well. So be careful. We'll see you on Tuesday, but y'all be listening for the repeat broadcast. All right. We've got the sports report coming up next right here on WBOK.
From the campus of Xavier University. WBOK 1230 AM. Go. An Equity Media Station.
I'm Tyreek Wynn. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. CPS CEO Pedro Martinez is getting support after recent reports that Chicago, Illinois Mayor Brandon Johnson, who is black, was seeking his ouster. 36th Ward Alderman Gilbert Villegas, along with more than 440 CPS principals and assistant principals, signed a letter backing the local leader. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz is coming off a primetime national interview that included several personal questions. The Democratic vice presidential candidate joined Vice President Kamala Harris, who's black, on CNN. Walz was questioned on whether he misspoke in 2018 when he said that he carried weapons of war despite never being deployed to a war zone. Walz said yes, he misspoke. South Carolina Governor Henry McMaster is signing a bill celebrating one of the state's most important figures who is black. The Republican governor held a ceremonial signing of Robert Small's monument bill on Thursday, setting the stage for the establishment of the monument on the grounds of the South Carolina State House. That's the latest. I'm Tyreek Witt on your home of 24/7 News, the Black Information Network.
WBOK 1230 AM online at WBOK1230.com.